Brighton Beach, New York, September 1937. A wooden frame house not too far from the beach. Its lower middle income area inhabited mostly by Jews, Irish, and Germans. The entrance to the house is to the right, a small porch and 2 steps up that lead to the front door. Inside we see the dining room and living room area. Another door leads to the kitchen. A flight of stairs leads up to 3 small bedrooms. Unseen are 2 other bedrooms. A hallway leads to other rooms. It's around 6:30 and the late September sun is sinking fast. Kate Jerome, about 40 years old, is setting the table. Her sister Blanche Morton, 38, is working a sewing machine. Laurie Morton, age 13, is lying on the sofa reading a book. Outside on the grass stands Eugene Jerome, almost but not quite 15. He's wearing knickers, a shirt and a tie, a faded and torn sweater, Ked sneakers, and a blue baseball cap. He has a beaten and worn baseball glove on his left hand, and in his right hand he holds a softball that's so old and battered that it's ready to fall apart. On an imaginary pitcher's mound, facing left, he looks back over his shoulder to an imaginary runner on second, then back over to the batter. Then he winds up and pitches, hitting an offstage wall.
1 out, a man on second, bottom of the 7th, 2 balls, no strikes. Roughing checks the runner on second. Gets the sign from Dickey. Roughing stretches, Roughing pitches. Caught the inside corner. Strike one and a baby no-hitter up there. 1 out, a man on second, bottom of the 7th, 2 balls, 1 strike. Roughing checks the runner on second. Gets the sign from Dickey. Roughing stretches, Roughing pitches. Blow an outside ball 3. Come on, Red. Make him a hitter. No batter up there. In there all the time, Red.
Kate, please, my head is splitting.
I told that boy 109 times. Eugene, stop banging the wall.
In a minute, Ma. This is for the World Series. 1 out, a man on second, bottom of the 7th, 3 balls, 1 strike. Roughing stretches, Roughing pitches. Oh no, high and outside, Jojo Moore walks. First and second, and Mel Ott lopes up to the plate.
Can't he do that someplace else?
I'll break his arm, that's where he'll do it. Eugene, I'm not going to tell you again. Do you hear me?
It's the last batter, Mom. Mel Ott is up. It's a crucial moment in World Series history.
Your Aunt Blanche has a splitting headache.
I don't want him to stop playing, it's just the banging.
He always does it when I'm studying. I have a big test in history tomorrow.
1 pitch, Mom? I think I can get him to pop up. I have my stuff today.
Your father will give you plenty of stuff when he comes home, you hear?
All right, all right.
I want you inside now. Put out the water glasses.
I can do that.
Why? Is his arm broken? And I don't want any back talk, you hear?
Slams the ball into his glove angrily, then he cups his hand, making a megaphone out of it, and announces to the grandstand,
Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Today's game will be delayed because of my Aunt Blanche's headache.
Blanche, that's enough sewing today. That's all I need for you to do is go blind.
I just have this 1 edge to finish. Laurie, darling, help your Aunt Kate with the dishes.
2 more pages, all right, Ma? I just have to finish the Macedonian Wars.
Always studying that one. She's going to have some head on her shoulders. Eugene!
I'm coming!
And wash your hands.
They're clean. I'm wearing a glove.
throws the ball into his glove again, then he looks out from and addresses the audience.
I hate my name. Eugene Morris Jerome. It is the second worst name ever given to a male child. The first worst is Haskell Fleischman. How am I ever going to play for the Yankees with a name like Eugene Morris Jerome? You have to be a Joe, or a Tony, or a Frankie. If only I was born Italian. All the best Yankees are Italian. My mother makes spaghetti with ketchup. What chance do I have?
Slams the ball into his glove again.
I'm almost through, Ma.
All right, darling, don't get up too quickly.
You have better color today, sweetheart. Did you get a little sun this morning?
I walked down to the beach.
Very slowly, I hope.
Yes, Ma.
That's good.
She gets all this special treatment because the doctors say she has kind of a flutter in her heart. I got hit with a baseball right in the back of the skull. I saw 2 of everything for a week, and I still had to carry a block of ice home every afternoon. Girls are treated like queens. Maybe that's what I should have been born, an Italian girl.
Eugene!
What?
How many times have I told you not to leave your things around the house?
109.
What?
You said yesterday, I told you 109 times not to leave your things around the house.
Don't be fresh to your mother, Gene.
Was I fresh? I swear to God, that's what she said to me yesterday. One day, I'm going to put all this in a book or a play. I'm going to be a writer like Ring Lardner or somebody. That's if things don't work out first with the Yankees or the Cubs or the Red Sox or maybe possibly the Tigers. If I get down to the St. Louis Browns, then I'll definitely be a writer.
Mom, can I have a glass of water or a glass of lemonade?
It'll spoil your dinner, darling.
Small glass, it couldn't hurt her.
All right, in a minute, Angel.
I'll get it. I'm in the kitchen anyway.
Can you believe that? She'd better have a bad heart or I'm going to kill her one day. Listen, I hope you don't repeat this to anybody. What I'm telling you are my secret memoirs. It's called The Unbelievable, Fantastic, and Completely Private Thoughts of I, Eugene Morris Jerome, in this, the 15th year of his life, in the year 1937, in the community of Brighton Beach, Borough of Brooklyn, Kings County, City of New York, Empire State of the American Nation.
A roller skate? On my kitchen floor? Do you want me dead? Is that what you want?
I didn't leave it there.
No? Then who? Laurie? Aunt Blanche? Did you ever see them on skates? Take this upstairs. Come here.
Don't hit my skull. I have a concussion.
What would you tell your father if he came home and I was dead on the kitchen floor?
I'd say, don't go in the kitchen, Pa!
Oh, get upstairs and don't come down with dirty hands.
You see why I want to write all this down? In case I grow up all twisted and warped, the world will know why.
He's a boy. He's young. You should be glad he's healthy and active. Before the doctors found out what Laurie had, she was the same way.
Never. Girls are different. When you and I were girls, we kept the house spotless. It was Ben and Ezra who drove Mama crazy.
We see Eugene upstairs, enters his room and takes out a notebook and pencil and lays down on his bed, making a new entry in his memoirs.
I've always been like that. I have to have things clean, just like Mama. The day they packed up and left the house in Russia, she cleaned the place from top to bottom. She said no matter what the Cossacks did to us, when they broke into our house, they would have respect for the Jews.
Who were the Cossacks?
The same filthy bunches live across the street.
Across the street? You mean the Murphys?
All of them.
The Murphys are Russian?
The mother is nice. She's been very sweet to me.
Her windows are filthy. I thought she had black curtains hanging inside.
I was in their house. It was very neat. Nobody could be as clean as you.
What business did you have in their house?
She invited me for tea.
To meet that drunken son of hers?
No, just the 2 of us.
I'm living here 7 years. She never invited me for tea because she knows your situation. I know their kind. Remember what Mama used to tell us? Stay on your own side of the street. That's what they have gutters for.
Goes into the kitchen.
That's what they have gutters for. If my mother knew I was writing all this down, she would stuff me like one of her chickens. I'd better explain what she meant by Aunt Blanche's situation. You see, her husband, Uncle Dave, died 6 years ago from this thing. They never say the word, they always whisper it. It was cancer. I think they're afraid if they said it out loud, God would say, I heard that! You said the dread disease! Just for that, I smite you down with it! There are some things the grown-ups just won't discuss. For example, my grandfather, he died from diphtheria. Anyway, after Uncle Dave died, he left Aunt Blanche with no money, not even insurance. And she couldn't support herself because she has asthma. So my big-hearted mother insisted we take her and her kids in to live with us. So they broke up our room into 2 small rooms, and me and my brother Stan live on this side, and Laurie and her sister Nora live on the other side. My father thought it would just be temporary, but it's been 3.5 years so far. And I think because of Aunt Blanche's situation, my father is developing high blood pressure.
Comes out of the kitchen with a pitcher and says to Laurie,
Have some more lemonade, dear.
Thank you, Aunt Kate.
Drink it slowly.
I am.
Blanche, that's enough already. Since 7 o'clock this morning.
I was just stopping.
You'll sew your fingers together.
It's getting dark anyway. I think I need new glasses.
Our teacher said you should change them every 2 years.
Would it kill you to put a light on?
I don't have to run up electric bills. I owe you and Jack enough as it is.
Have I asked you for anything? You see anybody starving around here? If I go hungry, you'll give me something from your plate.
Kate, I'm gonna pay you and Jack back someday. I don't know when, but I keep my word.
From your lips to the Irish sweepstakes. Go in and taste the soup. See if it needs salt.
Should I put out the water glasses, or is Eugene going to do it?
having heard slams his memoirs shut angrily.
Eugene! It's the last time I'm gonna tell you. Just do the napkins, darling.
She goes into the kitchen. Laurie gets up and starts to set up the napkins.
Because of her condition, I have to do twice as much work around here. Boy, if I could just make the Yankees, I'd be in St. Petersburg this winter. Her sister Nora isn't too bad. She's 16. I don't mind her much. At least she's not too bad to look at. To be absolutely honest, this is the year I started noticing girls that weren't too bad to look at. Nora started developing about 8 months ago. I have the exact date written in my diary.
Mom, Laurie, Aunt Kate.
We see Nora, an absolutely lovely 16-and-a-half-year-old girl with a developed chest, bound across the front steps and into the house. She is bubbling over with enthusiasm.
I've got incredible news, everybody.
Hi, Nora.
Eugene, my sweet, adorable, handsome cousin. Wait till I tell you what's happened to me. I'm fainting. I'm absolutely fainting.
I felt her chest. When she grabbed me, I felt my first chest.
I can't believe this whole day.
What happened?
Where's Mom? Aunt Kate? I have to tell everyone. Everybody inside for the big news.
Kate and Blanche come out of the kitchen. Kate is mashing potatoes in a...
What's all the excitement?
You're all red in the face.
Sit down, Mom, because I don't want you fainting on the floor.
Sit down, Blanche.
Mom, sit down.
You too, Aunt Kate. Okay. Is everybody ready?
Stop dragging it out. The suspense is killing me.
Don't say things like that, Laurie.
Can I hear what the girl has to say? Go ahead, darling.
Okay, here goes. I'm going to be in a Broadway show! It's a musical called Abracadabra. This man, Mr. Beekman, he's a producer, came to our dancing class this afternoon and he picked out 3 girls. We have to be at the Hudson Theater on Monday morning at 10 o'clock to audition for the dance director. But on the way out, he took me aside and said the job was as good as mine. I have to call him tomorrow. I may have to go into town to talk to him about it. They start rehearsing a week from Monday, and then it goes to Philadelphia, Wilmington, and Washington, and then it comes to New York to the second week in December. There are 9 big musical numbers, and there's going to be a big tank on stage that you can see through, and the big finale, and all that takes place with the entire cast underwater. I mean, can you believe it? I'm going to be in a Broadway show, Mama!
What is she talking about?
Do I know? Am I her mother?
How can you be in a show? Don't you have to sing and act?
I can sing.
No, you can't.
A little.
No, you can't.
I can carry a tune.
No, you can't.
Well, I probably won't have to. They're just looking for dancers.
On Broadway, you have to sing and act.
How do you know? You never saw a Broadway show.
Did you tell him how old you were?
He didn't ask me.
He didn't ask if you were 16.
He just asked me to audition. My God, isn't anybody excited?
I am. It's the most fantastic thing I ever heard.
Thanks, Eugene. I'm glad somebody's excited.
My God, I'll be sleeping right next door to a showgirl.
How can you go to Philadelphia? What about school?
School? Mama, this is a Broadway show. This is what I want to do with my life. Algebra and English isn't going to help me on the stage.
Aren't?
Will you stay out of this?
You mean Not finish school? Not get a diploma? Do you know how hard it is today for a girl to get a good job without a high school diploma?
But I've got a job, and I'll be making more money than 10 girls with diplomas.
You don't have it yet. You still have to audition.
It's as good as mine, Mr. Beekman told me.
And what if you, God forbid, broke a leg or got heavy? How long do you think they'll keep you? Dancing is just for a few years. A diploma is forever. I know. I never had one. I know how hard it is to find a decent job. Aunt Kate knows. Tell her, Kate.
It's very hard.
Then why did you send me to dancing school for 3 years? Why do I spend 2 hours a day on a subway, 4 days a week after school, with money that you make going half blind over a broken sewing machine? Why, Mama?
Because it's my pleasure. Because I know how you love it. Because you asked me.
Then I'm asking you something else, Mama. Let me do something for you now. I could be making almost $60 a week, maybe even more. In 2 years, when I get out of high school, I wouldn't make that much with a college diploma.
I can't think now. It's almost dinner time. Uncle Jack will be home soon. We'll discuss it later.
I have to know now, Mama. I have to call Mr. Beekman and let him know if I can go to the audition on Monday. At least let me audition. Let me find out first if they think I'm good enough. Please don't say no until Monday.
They all look at Blanche. She looks down at her hands.
It was a tense moment for everybody. I love tense moments, especially when I'm not the one they're all tense about.
Well, God knows we can use the money. We all owe Aunt Kate and Uncle Jack enough as it is. I think they have as much say in this as I do. How do you feel about it, Kate?
Me? I never voted before in my life. Why should I start with my own family? I have to heat up the potatoes.
Goes into the kitchen.
Then we'll leave it up to Uncle Jack. We'll let him make the decision.
Why, Mama? Ugh, I love him, but he's not my father.
Because I need help. Because I don't always know what the right thing to do is. Because I say so, that's why.
Goes to the kitchen, leaving Laurie and Eugene standing there staring at the forlorn Nora.
Eugene M. Jerome of New York casts 1 vote for yes.
Nora looks up at him, breaks into tears, and runs out of the room and up the stairs. Laurie follows her up. He turns towards the audience.
What I'm about to tell you next is so secret and private that I've left instructions for my memoirs not to be opened until 30 years after my death. I, Eugene M. Jerome, have committed a mortal sin by lusting after my cousin Nora. I can tell you all this now because I'll be dead when you're reading it. If I had my choice between a tryout with the Yankees and actually seeing her bare breasts for 2.5 seconds, I would have some serious thinking to do.
I need bread.
What?
I don't have enough bread. Run across the street to Greenblatt's and get a fresh rye bread.
Again? I went to the store this morning.
So you'll go again this afternoon.
I'm always going to the store. When I grow up, that's all I'll be trained to do, go to the store.
You don't want to go? Never mind, I'll go.
Don't do that. Don't make me feel guilty. I'll go.
And get a 1/4 pound of butter.
I bought a 1/4 pound of butter this morning. Why don't you buy a 1/2 pound at a time?
And suppose the house burned down this afternoon. Why do I need an extra 1/4 pound of butter?
She goes back to the kitchen.
If my mother taught logic in high school, this would be some weird country.
We run to the house to Greenblatt. Our attention goes to the 2 girls upstairs in the room. Nora's crying. Laurie sits on the twin bed opposite her watching.
So, what are you gonna do?
No, leave me alone. Don't just sit there watching me.
It's my room as much as yours. I don't have to leave if I don't want to.
Do you have to stare at me? Can't I have any privacy?
I'm staring into space. I can't help it if your body interferes. I bet you're worried.
How would you feel if your entire life depended on what your Uncle Jack decided? Oh, God, I wish Daddy were alive.
He would have said no. He was really strict.
Not with me. I mean, he was strict, but he was fair. If he said no, he always gave you a good reason. He always talked things out. I wish I could call him somewhere now and ask him what to do. 1 3-minute call to heaven is all I ask.
Ask Mom. She talks to him every night.
Who told you that?
She did. Every night before she goes to bed, she puts his picture on her pillow and she talks to him. Then she pulls the blanket halfway up the picture and goes to sleep.
She does not.
She does too. Last year when I had the big fever, I slept in bed with both of them, and in the middle of the night, my face fell on his picture and cut my nose.
She never told me that. That's weird.
I can't remember him much anymore. I used to remember him real good, but now he disappears a little bit every day.
Oh, God, he was so handsome. Always dressed so dapper. His shoes always shined. I always thought he should have been a movie star like Gary Cooper, only very short. Mostly I remember his pockets.
His pockets?
When I was 6 or 7, he always brought me home a little surprise, like a Hershey or a top. He'd tell me to go get it in his coat pocket, so I'd run to the closet and put my hand in it, and it felt as big as a tent. I wanted to crawl in there and go to sleep. And there were all these terrific things in there, like juicy fruit gum or spearmint lifesavers and bits of cellophane and crumpled pieces of tobacco and movie stubs and nickels and pennies and rubber bands and paper clips and his gray suede gloves that he wore in the wintertime.
With the stitched lines down the fingers, I remember.
Then I found his coat in Mom's closet and I put my hand in the pocket. And everything was gone. It was emptied and dry cleaned and it felt cold, and that's when I knew he was really dead. Oh God, I wish we had our own place to live. I hate being a boarder. Listen, let's make a pact. The first one who makes enough money promises not to spend any on herself, but saves it all to get a house for you, me, and Mom. That means every penny we get from now on, we save for the house. We can't buy anything. No lipstick or magazines or nail polish or bubblegum. Nothing. Is it a pact?
What about movies?
Movies too.
Starting when?
Starting today. Starting right now.
Can we start Sunday? I wanted to see The Thin Man.
Who's in it?
William Powell and Myrna Loy.
Okay, starting Sunday. I'll go with you Saturday.
They shake hands, sealing their pact, then both lie down on their respective beds and stare up at the ceiling, contemplating their future home. Eugene now returns with a paper bag containing the milk and butter under his arm. He stops, pretends to be a quarterback, awaiting the pass from center. The bread is his football.
Sid Luckman of Columbia waits for the snap from center. The snow is coming down in a near blizzard. He gets it. He fades back. He passes. And Luckman's got it. Luckman catches his own pass. He's on the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20. It's a touchdown! Columbia wins! They defeat the mighty Crimson of Harvard 13-12. Listen to that crowd. Oh!
Comes out of the kitchen, she yells out.
She's muted.
Oh, I lost it. Eugene, stop that yelling. I have a cake in the oven.
Goes back in the kitchen. Stanley Jerome appears. Stanley's 18 and a half. He wears slacks, a shirt and tie, and a zip-up jacket and a cap.
Hey, Eugene.
Hi, Stan. My brother, Stan. He's okay. You'll like him. What are you doing home so early?
Pop home yet?
No. Did you ask about the tickets?
What tickets?
For the Yankee game. You said your boss knew this guy who could get passes. You didn't ask him?
Me and my boss had other things to talk about.
Sits on the step.
I'm in trouble, Huge. I mean, really big trouble.
This really shocked me. Because Stan is the kind of guy who could talk himself out of any kind of trouble. What kind of trouble?
I got fired today.
Fired? You mean for good?
You don't get fired temporarily. It's permanent. It's a lifetime firing.
Why? What happened?
It was on account of Andrew, the color guy who sweeps up. Well, he was cleaning the floor in the stock room, and he lays his broom against the table to put some junk in the trash can, and the broom slips, knocks a can of linseed oil over the table, ruins 3 brand new hats right out of the box. $9 Stretsons. It wasn't his fault. He didn't put the linseed oil there, right?
Right.
Mr. Stroheim sees the oily hats and he gets crazy. He says to Andrew, the hats are going to have to come out of his salary, $27. So Andrew starts to cry.
He cried?
42 years old. He's crying. He's bawling all over the stockroom. I mean, the man hasn't got too much furniture upstairs anyway. But he's real sweet. He brings me coffee, always laughing, telling me jokes. I never understand them, but I laugh anyway. Make him feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I said to Mr. Stroheim, I said to him I didn't think it was fair. It wasn't Andrew's fault.
You said that to him?
Sure, why not? So Mr. Stroheim says, you want to pay for the hats, Big Mouth? So I said, no, I don't want to pay for the hats. So he says, then mind your own business, Big Mouth.
Holy mackerel.
So Mr. Stroheim looks at me like machine gun bullets are coming out of his eyes. And then he calmly sends Andrew over to the factory to pick up 3 new hats, which is usually my job. So guess what Mr. Stroheim tells me to do?
What?
He tells me to sweep up. He says, for this week, I'm the cleaning man.
I can't believe it.
Now everybody's watching me now. They're waiting to see what I'm going to do. Even Andrew stopped crying and watched. I felt the dignity of everyone who worked in that store was in my hands. So I grit my teeth and I pick up the broom, and there's this big pile of dirt right in the middle of the floor.
Yeah?
And I sweep it all over Mr. Stroheim's shoes. Andrew just finished shining them this morning. You want to talk about irony?
I'm dying. I'm actually dying.
You can see everyone in the place. Everyone's about to bust a gut. Mrs. Mulcahy, the bookkeeper, can hardly keep her false teeth in her mouth. And Andrew's eyes are hanging 5 inches out of their sockets.
This is the greatest story in the history of the world.
So Mr. Stroheim grabs me and he pulls me into the back office, closes the door, and he pulls down the shades. He gives me this whole story about how he was brought up in Germany to respect his superiors. That if he ever did such a thing like you do, they would beat me in their slop until they carried me away instead.
That's perfect. You got him down perfect.
And I say, yeah, but we're not in Germany, old buddy.
You said that to him?
No, to myself. I didn't want to go too far.
I was wondering.
Anyway, he says he's always liked me, and he always thought I was a good boy, and he was going to give me one more chance. He just wants a letter of apology. And that if the letter of apology isn't on his desk by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I can consider myself fired.
I would have had a heart attack. What did you say?
I said I was not going to apologize if Andrew still had to pay for the hats. He said that was between him and Andrew, and that he expected the letter from me in the morning. I said good night. I walked out of his office. I got my hat and went home. 10 minutes early.
I'm sweating. I swear to God, I'm sweating all over.
I don't know why I did it, but I got so mad. It wasn't fair. I mean, if you give in when you're 18 and a half, you'll give in for the rest of your life, don't you think?
I suppose so. So what's the decision? Are you going to write the letter?
No.
Positively?
Positively. Except I'll have to discuss it with Pa. I know we need the money, but he told me once you always have to do what you think is, he told me once, you have to always do what you think is right in this world and stand up for your principles.
And what if he says he thinks you're wrong, that you should write the letter?
He won't. He's going to leave it up to me, I know it.
But what if he says, write the letter?
Well, that's something we won't know till after dinner, will we?
Walks into the house.
All in all, it was shaping up to be one heck of a dinner. I'll say this, though. I always had this two-way thing about my brother. Either I worshipped the ground he walked on, or I hated him so much I wanted to kill him. I guess you know how I feel about him today.
He walks into the house as Kate comes out of the kitchen carrying a water pitcher for the table. Santa stops to look at the small pile of mail.
All day it takes to bring home bread? Give Aunt Blanche the butter. She's waiting for it.
I was home a half hour ago. I was talking to Stan.
Hey, I got a letter from Rosalind Weiner. Remember her? She moved to Manhattan. They live up on Central Park West.
Why not? Her father's a gangster. Her mother is worse. I don't get a kiss hello?
Nope. I was going to save it up and give you a giant one for Christmas.
We don't have Christmas. I'll take it now, thank you.
He
A
puts
hug too? When do I ever get a hug from you? You must have done something wrong.
You're too smart for me, Mom. I robbed the barber shop today.
Is that why you look so tired? You don't get enough sleep, running around all night with your 200 girlfriends.
130. That's all I have, 130.
How do you get any work done? And your boss doesn't say anything to you about being tired?
About being tired? No, he doesn't.
Did you ask him about Thursday?
What?
You were going to ask him about getting paid this Thursday so I can pay Greenblatt's on Friday. Saturday is a holiday.
No, I forgot. I'll ask him tomorrow.
If it's a problem, don't ask him. Greenblatt can wait. Your boss is more important.
That's not true, Mom. My boss isn't any more important than Mr. Greenblatt.
goes upstairs and into his room where he lays down, tries to read his letter, then puts it down and stares up at the ceiling, wondering about his predicament. Eugene bursts out of the kitchen and practically staggers out of the house. He sits on the step, his head down, looking very disconsolate. He addresses the audience.
Oh, God. As if things weren't bad enough, and now this, the ultimate tragedy. Liver and cabbage for dinner. A Jewish medieval torture. My friend Marty Gregorio, an A student in science, told me that cooked cabbage can be smelled farther than sound, traveling for 7 minutes. If these memoirs are never finished, you'll know it's because I gagged to death one night in the middle of supper.
We suddenly hear a crash of broken dishes in the kitchen. Eugene turns towards the sound, then to the audience.
You're all witnesses. I was sitting here, right? But I'll get You're all witnesses. I was sitting here, right? But I'll get blamed for that anyway.
The door opens and Kate comes out helping Blanche, who's wheezing and gasping quite badly. She can't catch her breath.
I'm all right. Just let me sit a minute.
Didn't I tell you to get out of that hot kitchen? I can't breathe in there and I don't have asthma. Nora, Laurie, come help your mother.
Nora and Laura jump up from their bed.
I'm sick about the plates. I'll replace them. Don't worry about the plates.
Plates I can always get. I only have one sister.
What happened?
I'm all right. Don't run, Laurie.
It's another asthma attack. It's the second one this week. Nora, maybe you better get the doctor.
I don't need doctors.
This is no climate for you near the beach. What you need is someplace dry.
Like Arizona, Mama.
Should I get the doctor?
No doctors. It's getting better. It's going away.
I can still hear the whistle.
Would you shut up?
Help Aunt Kate in the kitchen, Nora. I broke her good plates.
Never mind. Eugene will do it. You go up and get your mother's medicine. Laura, you sit there quiet and watch your mother. You look pale as a ghost. Eugene!
Come in here and help me.
Me.
Hello, Mrs. Kresge. How are you?
In a minute, Ma. Pop's home.
I would now like to introduce my father, a real hard worker. What?
It says Laurie, but I'm guessing it's me. I would now like to introduce my father, a real hard worker. He was born at the age of 42. Hi, Pop. How you doing, Pop?
Jacob Jack Jerome appears, a man about 40 who could pass for older. He wears a wrinkled suit, brown felt hat, and black shoes. The Brooklyn Eagle sticks up out of his side coat pocket. He carries 2 large and very heavy cardboard boxes tied around with hemp cord. He appears to be very tired.
How am I doing?
Let me carry these for you, Pop.
They're too heavy, you'll hurt yourself.
No, I can do it easy.
Takes one to
I just have to get a good grip.
Jack
Yeah.
stops and sips.
I just want to sit for a few minutes.
Are you okay, Pop?
I'm resting, that's all. Give me a glass of cold water.
I'll be out for the other box in a minute, Pop. I don't know how he does it. King Kong couldn't lift these. You know what's in here? Noisemakers and party favors. Pop sells them to nightclubs and hotels after he gets through every day with his regular work, which is cutting material for ladies' raincoats.
Did you do your homework today?
Not all of it. Mom sent me to the store 15 times. Amos and Andy is on tonight.
I'll do your homework and then we'll discuss Amos and Andy.
Eugene continues into the house as Nora comes down the stairs with her mother's medicine.
Here's your medicine, Mom. Laurie, go get some water.
Laurie shouldn't be running.
I'll get it, Nora.
You sure you don't mind?
No, no trouble at all. 2.5 seconds, that's all I ask.
Goes into the kitchen.
When are you going to speak to Uncle Jack, Mom?
When I speak to him, that's when I'll speak to him.
Tonight? I have to know tonight.
I'll see. If he's not too tired, I'll talk to him tonight.
Jack's home. We'll eat in 10 minutes. Nora, darling, go get Stanley. How's your mother, Laurie?
Much better. The whistling stopped.
Kate walks to the front door and goes out. Jack is sitting on the stoop wiping his neck. Nora goes upstairs.
What's wrong? Eugene said you were holding your chest.
I wasn't holding my chest.
You have to carry that box every day, back and forth to the city. You don't work hard enough, Jack.
You want the box, it's yours, huh? Keep it. I don't need it anymore.
What do you mean?
Del Mar's party favors went out of business. They closed them out. The man's bankrupt.
Oh, my God.
He never even warned me it was coming.
You told me he lived up on Riverside Drive with a view of the river. A $300 a month apartment he had. A man like that?
Who are the ones you think go bankrupt? You live in a cold water flat in Delancey Street. Bankruptcy's the one thing God spares you.
All right. All right. You can always find good in something. You don't have to lug that box anymore. You don't have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. We can all eat dinner at a decent hour. You still have your job with Jacobson. We won't starve.
I can't make ends meet with what I make at Jacobson's. Not with 7 people to feed.
They'll hear you. We'll talk later.
I can't get by without that extra $25 a week. I can't pay rent and insurance and food and clothing for 7 people. Christmas and New Year's alone, I made $150.
Stop it, Jack. You'll only get yourself sick.
He didn't even pay me for the week, the bastard. 5 salesmen are laid off, and he's going to a Broadway show tonight. I stuffed every hat and noisemaker I could carry in that box, and I walked out of there. At his funeral, I'll put on a pointy hat and blow a horn, the bastard.
Don't talk like that. Something will come up. You'll go to temple this weekend. You'll pray all day Saturday.
There's men in that temple been praying for 40 years. You know how many prayers have to get answered before my turn comes up?
Your turn will come up. God has time for everybody.
Eugene has come out of the kitchen with 2 glasses of water. He walks over to Blanche.
Here's your water, Aunt Blanche.
Thank you, darling.
Where's Nora?
She went up to call Stanley for dinner.
Hey, Laurie, you want to take a walk on the beach tonight?
I have homework. What do you want to walk with me for?
You, me, and Nora. I just felt like taking a walk.
I think Nora has a date with Larry Klerman.
Larry Klerman? She likes Larry Klerman?
I don't know. Ask her yourself.
Larry Klerman is my father's age.
He's 20.
Same thing. You think he's good looking?
I don't think anybody's good looking.
Larry Klerman? He doesn't even have a chin. His tie comes all the way up to his teeth.
Eugene, where's your father's water?
I'm coming.
As he walks to the front door, he turns to the audience.
Now I've got Larry Klerman to contend with. Here's your water, Pop. I put ice in it.
He hands a glass of water to his father, who drinks it all.
Don't drink so fast.
Do you have time to look at my sneakers, Pop?
What does he want to look at your sneakers for?
They have no soles. They're hanging on by a tiny piece of rubber. I have to clench my toes when I run out for a fly ball.
I bought you new sneakers last month.
Last year, Pa, not last month. I can only wear them 2 hours a day because my toes can't grow in them.
This is no time to talk to your father about sneakers. He's got enough on his mind. Turn the light down on the liver. We'll talk about this tonight. You'll eat a nice dinner, relax, and when everybody's asleep, we'll figure things out calmly. I don't like it when you get upset.
I'm feeling better. Come, dear, help me with dinner.
You think she'll ever get married?
Blanche?
She's not unattractive. I see men look at her on the beach. Huh? What does she want to waste her life in this house for?
She's raising 2 children.
Why doesn't she ever go out? Huh? She wants to meet people. I know plenty of single men.
Blanche isn't the type to get married.
She was married once, wasn't she? Those are the type that get married.
Dave was different. She's not interested in other men.
What about that Murphy fella across the street? He's plenty interested, believe me.
That drunk? The man can't find his way into the house at night. He slept in the doorway once, in the rain. He was there when I went out to get the milk.
He's got a good paying job, lives alone with his mother, so he takes a drink on a Saturday night. Maybe what he needs is a good woman.
Not my sister. Let him meet someone lying in the next doorway. I don't want to discuss this anymore.
She goes inside into the kitchen. Jack sighs, gets up slowly, and follows her in. Our attention goes to Stanley on his bed, still reading the letter from Rosalind Weiner. He suddenly sits up. Nora knocks on the door.
Come in.
Are you busy? I wanted to talk to you.
It's funny because I wanted to talk to you.
About what?
I need a favor. Real bad. You're the only one who can help me.
What is it?
Skip a page.
Skip a page? Well, when Pop come home tired, he doesn't usually pay too much attention to me and Eugene. He's different with you. He's always interested in what you have to say.
Really? I hope so.
Sure, you never noticed that?
Not really. What's the favor?
This may sound dumb, but at dinner, you think you could steer the conversation in a certain direction?
What direction?
Well, like something like how much you admire people who stand up for their principles.
What people?
Any people. Just principles is the most important word. If you could just work it in just 3 or 4 times, I'd be very grateful.
3 or 4 times?
It'll be easy. I'll mention someone like Abraham Lincoln, and you look up and then you say, now there's a man who really stood up for his principles.
I have my own things to bring up at dinner. I don't want to get into a discussion about Abraham Lincoln.
No, not his whole life, just his principles.
Why would I do such a stupid thing?
Because as of tomorrow, I'm unemployed unless someone besides me mentions sticking up for your principles.
What happened? Did you get fired?
I will be unless I write Kaiser Wilhelm a letter of apology. It's really up to my old man. I've decided to do whatever he tells me.
When are you going to ask him?
Tonight, right after dinner.
Tonight? Does it have to be tonight?
That's the deadline. I have to give my answer to Mr. Stroheim in the morning. Why?
Couldn't you ask your father in the morning?
He gets up at 5:30. My mother has to line his shoes at night because he can't make decisions at 5:30. What's wrong, Nora?
I don't know what you have to complain about. At least your father is alive and around the house to make decisions. You don't know when you're well off, Stanley. Sometimes you make me sick.
She runs out of the room, slamming the door behind her. Stanley sits there looking bewildered. Eugene walks into the dining room facing the audience. He looks at them to speak.
Chapter 7, The Infamous Dinner.
The others drift into the dining room, taking their seats. Blanche and Kate bring most of the dishes, passing them around. They're all seated as he continues his narrative.
It started out like a murder mystery in Blenheim Castle. No one said a word, but everyone looked suspicious. It was so quiet you could hear Laurie's soup going down her esophagus. Everyone had one eye on their plate and the other eye on Pop. Except me. I sat opposite Nora. I kept dropping my napkin a lot so I could bend down to get a good look at those virginal, creamy white legs. She was really deep in thought because she left herself unguarded a few times, and I got to see halfway up her thighs that led to the golden palace of the Himalayas.
Eugene, keep your napkin on your lap and stop daydreaming.
Stanley knew what I was doing because he's the one who taught it to me, but he was busy with his own problems like everyone else. You could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. The tension in the air was so thick you could cut it with a knife, which is more than I could say for the liver.
Ketchup, mustard, pickles.
I'm through. I'll help with the dessert.
Finish your liver.
I finished. Do you see liver on my plate?
You buried it under the mashed potatoes. I know your tricks. Look how Laurie ate hers.
I had a major problem. One more bite and I would have thrown up on the table. That's a sight Nora would have remembered forever. A diversion was my only escape from humiliation. So how's things down at Stroheim, Stanley?
Stanley, who's drinking water, slams down the glass, splashing it. He glares at Eugene, who continues to address the audience.
I felt bad about that, but for the moment, attention had shifted away from my liver.
How long you been working there now? How long have you been working there now?
Where?
It's Stroheim's.
At Stroheim's? Let me see. I was part-time a year and a half before I graduated high school. And a year since that.
So what's that?
That's 2.5 years, counting part-time.
And he likes you?
Who?
Mr. Stroheim.
Yeah, usually he likes me. Sometimes I'm not sure.
You come in on time?
Yeah.
You do your work?
Yeah.
You get along with the other people?
Yeah.
So why shouldn't he like you? How much are you making now?
$17 a week.
Yeah, it's time you moved up. Tomorrow, you go in there and you ask him for a raise.
A raise?
If you don't speak up, people take advantage of you. Tomorrow morning, you go into his office. You're polite, you're respectful, but you're firm. You tell him you think you're worth another $5 a week.
$5?
He'll offer you $1.25. You settle for $2.50. I know how these things work, huh? You're a high school graduate. He's lucky he's got you.
I don't think this is the time to ask him for a raise, Pop. His wife is very sick.
You're afraid to ask him, huh? You want me to take you by the hand and walk into his office and say, my little boy wants a raise?
I'm not afraid.
Your father wouldn't ask you if he didn't think it was the right thing. Believe me, Stanley, now is the time to ask for it.
Ma, I think I have a bone in my throat.
There are no bones in liver.
Into the kitchen.
So, what's new at dancing school, Nora?
Nothing is new. Mind your own business.
I'm just trying to introduce the subject.
I don't need your help. Will you tell her to be quiet, Mother?
Laurie, you may be excused if you're finished.
What happened at dancing school?
Nora received a very nice compliment from her teacher. She said Nora had professional potential.
He didn't say potential. Potential is the future. Mr. Beckman is interested in Nora's immediate present.
Huh. Isn't that something? Mr. Beckman is your teacher?
No. He's one of the most widely known and respected producers on Broadway.
Broadway, huh? Imagine that. That's wonderful. And how you doing in school otherwise?
I'm doing fine.
She's doing very well.
I wish I was as smart as she is.
Isn't that the same Mr. Beckman who's producing the great Broadway extravaganza Abracadabra? I hear if a girl gets hired for the chorus of a show like that, not only is her career practically guaranteed, but the experience she gains is equal to a 4-year college education. You're muted, Sky.
Sorry.
If my mother was here, I bet she'd tell me that was enough.
Eugene, that's enough.
Only a 4-year college education is equal to a 4-year college education.
I don't think Abraham Lincoln went to college.
Nora goes into the kitchen.
Yeah. What about you, Laura? You feeling all right?
Yes, Uncle Jack.
You getting plenty of fresh air?
As much as I can hold in my lungs. Nora, did you tell Uncle Jack about the big tank that's filled with water?
Girls, why don't we just let Uncle Jack eat his dinner? If we have something to discuss, we can discuss it later.
Somebody's got something to discuss. If there's a problem, this is the time to bring it up. This is the family hour.
What a great idea for a radio show. The Family Hour. Every Wednesday night, you hear a different family eating dinner, discussing their problems of the week, and you get to hear different recipes. WEAF presents Dinner at Brighton Beach, starring the Jacob Jerome family and featuring tonight's specialty, liver and cabbage, brought to you by X-Lax, the mild laxative.
The whole country's gonna hear about a 15-year-old boy gagging on liver?
Nothing to discuss? Nobody has any problems? Otherwise, I want to turn on the news.
Well, as a matter of fact,
What?
nothing.
I'll help with the dishes.
You sit there and finish your liver.
I can't swallow it. It won't go down. Remember the lima bean catastrophe last month? Does anybody want to see a repeat of that disgusting episode?
Why does he always talk like it's a Sherlock Holmes story?
He thinks he's a writer.
And what do you think you are?
Eat half of it.
Which half? They're both terrible.
A quarter of it. 2 bites.
One bite.
2 bites.
I know you. If I eat one bite, you'll make me eat another bite. I'll take it to my room. I'll eat it tonight. I need time to chew it.
These are not times to waste food. If you didn't want it, Eugene, you shouldn't have taken it.
I didn't take it. They gave it to me. It comes attached to the plate.
If it's so important to everybody, I'll eat your liver, Eugene.
You will?
It seems to be the only thing this family is worried about. Give me your liver so we can get on with more important things in our lives.
Nora's right. Take the liver away. If nobody likes it, why do you make it?
Because we can't afford a roast beef for 7 people.
Head for the kitchen.
I suddenly felt vulgar and cheap.
Stanley, turn on the news.
Laurie, get off your feet. You look tired to me.
Can I talk to you a minute, Pop? It's something really important.
More important than what's going on in Europe?
Depends on the rating.
It's not more important. It's just coming up sooner.
Hitler's already moved into Austria. In a couple of months, the whole world will be in it. What's the matter with this radio?
Barely
Someone's
out.
been fooling around with it. Haven't they, Eugene?
Why Eugene? Pop had the news on last night.
You weren't listening to the ball game this afternoon?
He's talking about Poland. Damn it, I don't want anybody touching this radio anymore. You understand?
Guess who's going to get blamed for the war in Europe?
Eugene, bring in the knives and forks.
You really think there'll be a war, Pop? I mean, America too?
We're already in it. Not us, maybe, but friends, relatives. If you're Jewish, you got a cousin suffering somewhere in the world.
Ida Kaczynski's family got out of Poland last month. The story she tells about what's going on there, you don't even want to hear.
How many relatives do we have in Europe?
Enough. Uncles, cousins. I have a great aunt. Your father has nephews.
I have a cousin, Shalem, in Poland. His whole family.
Ava has relatives in Warsaw. That's where his mother was born.
What if they got to America? Where would they live?
Who?
Your nephews, mom's cousin and uncles, where would we take them in? Would we take them in?
What God gives us to deal with, we deal with.
Well, where would we put them?
What are you worrying about things like that now for? Go upstairs and work on your speech. How are you're going to ask Mr. Stroheim for a raise tomorrow?
Can I talk to you later, Pop, after you've rested and read the paper?
Lou Gehrig got 2 hits today. Larapin Lou is hitting .302.
Is that your paper? How many times have I told you you don't read it until your father is finished?
I didn't break it. The print doesn't come off if I take a quick look at it.
Don't be fresh to your mother. Upstairs.
Pop,
Everybody.
I'll come down later, okay, Pop?
Come on, Stan. I have to talk to you anyway.
You're a pest. Did anyone ever tell you you're a pest?
Yeah, I have a list upstairs. You want to add your name to it?
Okay. Maybe you should lie down. There's nothing in that paper that's going to cheer you up.
What would we do, Kate? Where would we put him if they got off the boat and knocked on our door? How would we feed him?
The boat didn't get here yet. I can't deal with the boats that haven't landed yet.
Nora bursts out of the kitchen, apparently having just argued with her mother. She's followed by Blanche and Laurie.
Uncle Jack, I know you're tired and you have a lot of things on your mind, but the rest of my life may depend on your decision, and I have to know tonight because I have to call Mr. Beekman and let him know if I can go or not.
Who's Mr. Beekman?
The Broadway producer we talked about at dinner.
Abracadabra, remember?
Mrs. Stanley walks to the bathroom. Eugene walks into the bedroom.
Laurie, upstairs this minute. Nora, not now. This isn't the time.
It's never the time. You won't make a decision and I don't have anyone else I can talk to. Well, I'll make my own decision if no one else is interested. I am 16 and a half years old and I'll do what I want to do.
The tears begin to flow as she runs out of the front room.
What is this all about?
Go on out, Jack. Talk to her.
I'll take care of it. Nora's right. It's my decision.
What are you going to tell her? That she can leave school? That she can throw her future away? Is that what you want to do?
What if I'm wrong? What if she's got talent? What is it I'm supposed to say?
She can't talk to me. It's all the same family, isn't it? I'm her uncle, for God's sake.
She doesn't need an uncle tonight. She needs a father. Go on. She'll tell you.
Jack looks at them both, then walks out of the front yard. Nora's sitting on the bench tearfully.
I never learned.
You mind if I sit with you?
I wrapped my life up in Dave so much, I never learned to be their mother.
If you want to talk, we'll talk. If not, not.
We have enough mothers here. This is a family. The world doesn't survive without families. Laurie, do your homework. Blanche, make me some tea. You're the only one who here makes decent tea.
Laurie goes up to her room. Blanche and Kate have gone into the kitchen.
Listen, I know what it's like, Nora, not to be heard.
You do?
I grew up in a family of 4 children. My father, before he died, could never remember our names. My oldest brother was the big one. I was the little one. My brother Saul was the rotten one. Eddie was the skinny one.
Who am I?
The pretty one. All right, what's the problem?
Stanley walks from the bathroom into the bedroom.
I don't know. It doesn't seem very important now.
I never seen you cry over something that wasn't important. I know I'm not your father. It's not my place to make decisions for you. But I can offer advice. Advice is free. If it doesn't fit, you can always return it.
Can we walk down the block?
Sure. Yeah, we'll take a look at the ocean. My father always used to say, throw your problems out to sea, and the answers will wash back up on the shore.
Did they?
Not in Brighton Beach. Orange peels, watermelon pits washed up. That's why it's good to take somebody who knows how to give advice.
Gets up and they walk off towards the beach. Stanley's lying on his bed, hands under his head, deep in thought. Eugene sits on his bed, hanging a baseball into his glove.
You stop that? I'm trying to think.
I'm glad I don't have your problems.
How'd you like an official American League baseball in your mouth?
I've got to talk to you, Stanley. I'm in a really serious, important talk.
Everybody in this house has to have a talk with somebody. Take a number off the wall and wait your turn.
I had a dream last night. It was about this girl. I can't tell you her name, but she's gorgeous. We were really kissing hard and rubbing up against each other, and I felt this tremendous build-up coming, like at the end of the 39 steps. And suddenly there was an explosion, like a dam broke and everything rushed and flowed out to sea. It was the greatest feeling I ever had in my life. And when I woke up, I was
All wet.
Yeah. How'd you know?
It was a wet dream. You had a wet dream. I have them all the time.
You do? You mean there's nothing wrong with you if it happens?
You never had one before?
Yeah, but I slept through it.
Didn't you ever try to do it by yourself?
What do you mean?
Didn't you ever diddle yourself?
No, never.
Baloney, I've heard you. You diddle 3 or 4 times a week.
You're crazy. What do you mean, diddle?
Whack off. You masturbate.
Will you be quiet? Laurie might hear you.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody does it. Especially at our age, it's natural.
What do you mean, everybody? You know guys who do it?
Every guy I know does it. Except Haskell Fleischman, the fat kid. He does it to the other guys.
I can't believe I'm having this conversation.
You can't grow up without doing it. Your voice won't change.
Where do you get this stuff from? Is it in a medical book or something? It's what?
Puberty. Never heard that word before? You don't read books?
Yeah, The Citadel by A.J. Cronin. He never mentioned puberty.
Pop did it.
Pop? Our Pop? You know what, Stanley? I think you're full of shit.
Hey, don't use that language. Who do you think you are? You're just a kid. Never let me hear you say that word again.
I don't get you. You mean it's okay for you to say puberty, but I can't say shit?
Puberty is a scientific word. Shit is for those guys who hang around the beach.
What do you expect me to say when you tell me that Pop whacks off?
I don't mean he still does it because he's married now. But when he was a kid, 14 or 15, the whole world whacks off.
President Roosevelt, too?
Rich kids are the worst. They whack off from morning till night. In college, they sit around in their dorms, drinking beer and whacking off.
Stanley, this is the most useful information you ever taught me. What about girls?
5 times as much as boys.
5 times as much? Is that an actual figure? Where do you know all this from?
You pick it up, you learn it. It's handed down from generation to generation. That's how our culture spreads.
5 times as much as boys. Some of them don't even say hello to you and they're home all night whacking off.
They're human just like we are. They have the same needs and desires.
Then why is it so hard to touch their boobs?
If you were a girl, would you like some guy jumping at you and grabbing your boobs?
If I had boobs, I would love to touch them, wouldn't you?
I got my own problems to think about.
How do girls do it?
I can't explain it.
Please, Stanley, I'll be your slave for a month. Tell me how they do it.
I need a pencil and paper. I'll do it later.
Quickly hands him his notebook and a pencil.
Do you want crayons? Maybe you should do it in color.
Hey, Eugene, I have a major problem in my life. I haven't got time to draw girls masturbating for you.
I'll bet Nora doesn't do it.
Boy, could I win money from you. You think she's in the bathroom 7 times a day just taking showers?
She does it in the bathroom?
I knew 2 girls who used to do it in English class. I saw her doing it. A girl did it during a final exam, and she got a 98 on her paper still. See the one you were thinking about last night?
No, it was somebody else, one of the beach girls.
It was Nora. I see what's going on. I know why you dropped your napkin 12 times at dinner tonight.
She drives me crazy. I think I'm in love with her.
Yeah? Well, forget it. She's your cousin.
What's wrong with being in love with your cousin?
Because it's against the laws of nature. If she was your stepsister, it would be dirty, but it would be okay. But you can't love your own cousin. Let me give you a piece of advice. When you're going through puberty, don't start with anyone in your own house.
Now, who made up those rules? Franklin Roosevelt married his cousin.
Well, maybe she was his 2nd or 3rd cousin, but you can't marry your 1st cousin. You get babies with 9 heads. Oh my God. I wish Pop would get back. I got to talk with him tonight.
I still would love to see her naked. Just once. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Oh, I do it all the time.
You've seen Nora naked?
Lots of times. I fixed the lock on her bathroom door and then I opened it pretending I didn't know anyone was in there. But
I can't believe it. What a pig! What did she look like?
all I can tell you is I was pretty miserable. She was my first cousin.
He lies back on his bed. Eugene turns and looks out to the audience.
That was the night I discovered lust and guilt very closely related. I have to wash up.
Have a good time.
I don't do that.
Blanche and Kate come out of the kitchen. They each have a cup of tea. They sit at the dining table.
I'm sorry. I forgot it was this Tuesday. I'll change my doctor appointment.
You don't have to change anything. The girls will be with me.
Have I ever missed a year going to the grave? Dave was my favorite in the whole family. You know that.
You realize it'll be 6 years? Sometimes I forget his birthday, but the day he died, I never forget.
There wasn't another one like him.
Laurie asks me questions about him all the time. Was he funny? What was the funniest thing she ever said she asked me? I couldn't remember. Isn't that awful, Kate?
Sometimes you talk like your life is over. You're still a young woman. You're still beautiful if you'd ever stop squinting so much.
I went with him for 2 years before we were married. What was I waiting for? That's 2 married years I didn't have with him.
Listen, Jack's company is having their annual affair in New York next Wednesday at the Commodore Hotel. You should see how some of those women get dressed up. Jack wants you to come with us. He told me to ask you.
Me? Who do I know in Jack's company?
You'll be with us. You'll meet people. Max Green will be at our table. He's the one whose wife died last year of tuberculosis. He's their #1 salesman. He lives in a hotel on the Grand Concourse. He's a riot. You'll like him. Maybe you'll dance with him. What else are you going to do here every night?
I don't have a dress to wear for a thing like that.
You'll make something. Jack will get you some material. He knows everybody in the garment district.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it. I can't go. Maybe next year.
Next year, you won't have any eyes altogether. What are you afraid of, Blanche? Dave is dead. You're not. If God wanted the both of you, you'd be laying in the grave next to him.
I've made plans for next Wednesday night.
More important than this, they have this affair once a year.
I'm having dinner with someone.
You're having dinner? With a man? Well, that's wonderful. Why didn't you tell me?
With Mr. Murphy.
Who's Mr. Oh, my God. Oh, I don't understand you. You're going to dinner with that man? Do you know where he'll take you? To a saloon. To a bar and grill. That's where he'll take you.
We're going to Chardov's, the Hungarian restaurant. You never even met the man. Why do you dislike him so much?
I don't have to meet that kind. I just have to smell his breath and when he opens the window. What do you think a man like that is looking for? I grew up with that kind on Avenue A. How many times have Stanley and Eugene come home from school black and blue from the beatings they took from those Irish hooligans? What have you got to talk with a man like that?
Is that why you don't like him? Because he's Irish? When have the Jews and Irish ever fought a war? Do you know who George Bernard Shaw is?
I don't care who he is.
Only one of the greatest Irish writers in the world. What would you say if he took me to Chardov's next Wednesday?
Is Mr. Murphy a writer? Tell him to bring me some of his books. I'll be glad to read them.
Hey, when are you going to give up on being an older sister?
I've heard stories about him with women. They like their women, you know. Well, if that's what you want, it's your business.
I decided to go downstairs and quiet my passion with oatmeal cookies.
We took a walk along the beach last Thursday. He hardly said a word. He's very shy, very quiet. He told me where his parents came from in Ireland. Their life wasn't any easier than Mama and Papa's in Russia.
Nobody had it like they had it in Russia.
He holds down a decent job in a printer's office, and he didn't smell of liquor, and he behaved like a perfect gentleman.
Eugene comes down the stairs. He has been listening.
No cookies for you. Not until you eat that liver.
You're still saving it? You mean it's going to be in that icebox until I grow up?
No cookies, do you hear me?
I just want a glass of water.
You have water in your bathroom.
There's toothpaste in the glass. It makes me nauseous.
Listen, there's no point in discussing this. I'm going to bed. Do what you want.
Hey, I don't want to do anything that's going to make you unhappy. Or Jack. I owe too much to you. I can't live off you the rest of my life. Every decent job I've tried to get, they turn me down because of my eyes. The thought of marrying Frank Murphy hasn't even occurred to me. Maybe not even to him, but I don't think one dinner at Chardov's is the end of the world.
I just don't want to see you get hurt. I never mean you harm. I can take anything except when someone in the family is mad at me.
I could never be mad at you, Kate. That I promise you to my dying day.
Go on, have dinner with Frank Murphy. Oh, if Papa ever heard me say those words, he'd get up from the cemetery and stand in front of our house with a big stick.
I told him to pick me up here. Is that all right?
Here? In my house?
For 2 minutes. I wanted you to meet him. At least see what he's like.
Tell his mother to wash her windows. Maybe I'd know what he's like.
Nora,
hurriedly cross the front yard and open the front door. She looks upset. Nora walks over to her mother, determined.
Can I see Mr. Beekman tomorrow? Yes or no?
Jack crosses the front yard.
Did you talk to Uncle Jack?
I talked to Uncle Jack. I want an answer from you, Mother. Yes or no?
What
What did he say?
It doesn't matter what he said. It's your decision or mine. Who's going to make it, Mother?
I said if I were her father, I'd tell her to finish high school. If she's got talent, there will be plenty of other shows. I never got past the 8th grade, and that's why I spend half my life on the subway and the other half trying to make a few extra dollars to keep this family from being out on the street.
I don't want this just for myself, Mama, but for you and for Laurie. In a few years, we could have a house of our own instead of all being cooped up here like animals. We could pay Uncle Jack for what he's given us all these years. I'm asking for a way out, Mama. Don't shut me in. Don't shut me in for the rest of my life.
You promised you'd do what Uncle Jack said.
He doesn't make the decisions. He offers advice. I want a decision, Mama, from you. Please.
You finish high school. You tell Mr. Beekman that you're too young. You tell him your mother said no. That's my decision.
I see. Thank you very much, Uncle Jack, for your advice. I'll let you know in the morning what my decision is.
Rushes upstairs to her room. Blanche starts to go after her.
Let her go, Blanche. Let her sleep on it. He'll only make it worse.
Seems no matter what I do, I only make it worse.
She turns, starts up the stairs. Nora has slammed the door of her room. Stanley bears it and opens his door and starts down.
What could I tell her? What could I say?
You inherit a family, you inherit their problems.
Well, good night.
Put the cookie on the table.
What cookie?
The oatmeal cookie in your pocket. Put it on the table.
You can smell an oatmeal cookie from 10 feet away?
I heard the jar moving in the kitchen. Suddenly everybody's doing what they want in this house. Your father's upset, Aunt Blanche is upset. Put the cookie on the table.
Eugene puts the cookie on the table and starts up the stairs to his room. He passes Stanley.
A lot of yelling. What happened?
I don't know, but it's my fault.
Goes up into the bathroom. Nora's on her bed crying. Laurie sits on her bed and watches her.
What are you gonna do? Do you want me to speak to Mom? I could tell her I was getting flutters in my heart again.
Don't ever say that. Don't you pretend to be sick to get favors from anyone.
I'm not pretending. They're just not big flutters.
Stanley has been sitting at the top of the stairs trying to work up courage to talk to his father. Jack is sitting in the living room, disconsolate. Kate is puffing up pillows.
Stop with the puffing up pillows, huh? This house could be burning down and you'd run back in and puff up the pillows.
Let's go to bed. You're tired.
When does it get easier, Kate? When does our life get easier?
At night, when you get 7 good hours of sleep. That's the easiest it ever gets.
Nora has put on her robe, left her room, and opens the bathroom door. We hear a scream from Eugene.
Close the door!
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know anyone was in there.
Rushes out back to her room. Stanley moves into the living room.
Dad, do you think I could talk to you now? It'll take just 5 minutes.
He's tired, Stanley. He's practically asleep.
2 minutes. I'll tell it as fast as I can.
Go on, Kate. Go to bed. The boy wants to tell me something.
Turn out the lights when you're through. Don't worry about things. We've always made them work out.
The room just as Eugene darts out of the bathroom, rushes into his own room, and slams the door.
She saw me on the crapper. Nora saw me on the crapper. I might as well be dead.
I have a problem, Pop.
If you didn't, you wouldn't live in this house.
It must be tough being a father. Everybody comes to you with their problems. You have to have all the answers. I don't know if I can handle it.
Stop trying to win me over. Just tell me the problem.
I got fired today.
What?
Don't get excited. Don't get crazy. Let me explain what happened.
What did you do? You came in late? You were fresh to somebody? Were you fresh to somebody?
I'm not fired yet. I can still get my job back. I just need you to help me make a decision.
Take the job back. I don't care what it is. This is not the time for anybody to be out of work in this family.
Well, when I was 12 years old, you gave me to talk about principles, remember?
All night you waited to tell me this news?
This is about principles, Pop.
How long were you going to go without telling me?
You hear my principles?
All right. I'll hear your principles, and then you'll hear mine.
Okay, just sit back and let me tell you what happened, okay? Well, it was on account of Andrew, the color guy who sweeps up.
Jack sits back and listens. Stanley sits with his back to the audience talking, but we can't hear him. Our attention's drawn to Eugene up in his room.
So Stanley began his sad story. Pop never said a word. He just sat there and listened. Stanley was terrific. It was like that movie, Abe Lincoln in Illinois. Stanley was not only defending his principles, he was defending democracy in the United States of America. Pop must have been bleary-eyed because not only did he have to deal with Stanley's principles, Nora's career, the loss of his noisemaker business, how to get Aunt Blanche married off, and Laurie's fluttering heart, but at any minute there could be a knock on the door with 37 relatives from Poland showing up looking for a place to live. Finally, Stanley finished his story.
So either I bring in a letter of apology in the morning or I don't bother coming in. I know it's late. I know you're tired, but I didn't want to do anything without asking you first.
Oh, Stanley.
I'm sorry, Pop.
You shouldn't have swept the dirt on his shoes,
No,
especially in front of other people.
I know.
He's your boss. He pays your salary. His money helps put food on our dining table.
No, Pop.
And we just don't have the money to waste. Believe me when I tell you that.
I believe you, Pop.
You were sick 3 days last year, and he only docked you a day and a half's pay. Remember that?
I know. I can see what you're getting at. I'll write the letter. I'll do it tonight.
On the other hand, you did a courageous thing. You defended your fellow worker. Nobody else stood up for him, did they?
I was the only one.
That's something to be proud of. It was what you believed in. And that's standing up for your principles.
That's why I didn't want to write the letter. I knew you'd understand.
The question is, can this family afford principles right now?
It would make it hard, I know.
Not just on you and me, but on your mother, on Aunt Blanche, Nora, Laurie. Eugene would have to get a part-time job. Time he should be using studying books to get himself somewhere.
He wants to be a writer. He wants to go to college.
I wish I could have sent you. I always been sick about that, Stanley.
I like working, Pop. I really do. Listen, I made up my mind. I'm going to write the letter.
I'm not saying you should.
I know. It's my decision. I really want to write the letter.
And how will your principals feel in the morning?
My principals feel better already. You told me you were proud of what I did. That's all I really cared about.
Hey, you know something, Stanley? I don't think there's much in college that they could teach you that you don't already know.
That's where I learned it from. Thanks for talking to me, Pop. I'll see you in the morning. You coming to bed?
I think I'll sit here a while. It's the only time of day I have a few minutes to myself.
Stanley nods and bounds up the stairs to his room. Jack sits back in his chair and closes his eyes. Stanley enters his room. Eugene is writing in his book of memoirs.
How'd it go? Did you have to write the letter?
Yeah.
I knew that he'd make you do it.
You didn't make me do it. Be quiet, will you? I have to concentrate.
What are you going to say?
I don't know. You want to help me? You're good at those things.
People used to get paid for that in the old days. Professional letter writers.
I'm not going to pay you money.
I don't want money.
And what do you want?
Tell me what Nora looked like naked.
How horny can you get?
I don't know. What's the highest score?
All right, when we finish the letter.
I don't trust you. I want to get paid first.
You know what? You're a real shit.
Don't talk like that in front of me. I'm just a kid.
What do you want to know?
Everything from the time you opened the door.
It happened so fast.
That's okay. Tell it slow.
Jesus. All right. I heard the shower running. I waited for it to stop. I gave a few seconds for the water to run off her body. And then I knew she'd be stepping out of the shower. Suddenly, I just opened the door. She was standing there on the bath mat, a towel on her head, and nothing else in the whole wide world.
Slower. Don't go so fast.
The breasts were gorgeous, like two peaches hanging on the vine, waiting to be plucked. Maybe nectarines, like two nectarines, all soft and pink and shining in the morning sun.
Curtain. Wednesday, a week later, about 6:30 in the evening, Kate comes down the stairs carrying a tray of food. She looks a little haggard. Laurie's lying on the sofa in the living room with a book. Eugene's in the backyard, sitting on the beach chair, writing in his book of memoirs.
Laurie, you should see your mother. She looks gorgeous.
I'm waiting for her grand entrance. How's Uncle Jack?
He's resting. He ate a nice dinner. You can go up and see him later. Eugene, your father's resting. I don't want to hear any ball playing against the wall.
I'm not playing. I'm writing.
Well, do it quietly.
Goes into the kitchen.
She wants me to write quietly. If that was the only sentence I published in my memoirs, it would be a bestseller. Everybody's been in a rotten mood around here lately. 3 days ago, Pop had a heart attack. It wasn't a major heart attack. It was sort of a warning. He passed out in the subway and a policeman had to bring him home. He was trying to make extra money driving a cab at nights and he just plain wore out. The doctor says he has to stay home for 2 or 3 weeks, but Pop won't listen to him. Mr. Jacobson has a brother-in-law who needs a job. He's filling in for Pop temporarily, but Pop's afraid that 3 weeks in bed could turn into permanently.
Stanley appears coming home from work. He looks distraught. He half whispers to Eugene.
I have to talk to you.
What's up?
Not here in our room. Don't tell anybody.
What's the big secret?
You shut up. Wait till I get upstairs, then follow me.
He goes into the house.
If it's about Nora, I'm not interested.
Theo.
I forgot to tell you, I hate my cousin Nora. She's been real snotty to everybody lately. She doesn't say hello in the morning and eat her dinner up in her room. And she's been seeing this guy, Larry No-Chin Clurman, every night. And she's not as pretty as I thought she was.
Eugene, did you bring your father his paper?
I'm coming. My knee hurts. I fell down the stairs at school.
Well, bring it up. Your father is waiting for it.
Goes back to the kitchen.
If I told her I just lost both my hands in an accident, she'd say, go upstairs and wash your face with your feet. I guess she's sore because she and Pop can't go to the affair at the Commodore Hotel. They had Glenn Gray and his orchestra. I feel sorry for her because she doesn't get to go out much.
Gets up, starts towards the house.
And she's nervous about Frank Murphy coming over to pick up Aunt Blanche. She's angry at the whole world.
He enters the house.
That's why she's making lima beans for dinner.
Would you like a cashew, Laurie?
Oh, thanks. And a Brazil nut too? And 1 almond?
You must be starved. We're having dinner late tonight. We'll wait till your mother goes out.
Can I have some nuts, Mom?
Just 1. It's for the company. We're eating in the kitchen tonight. You and Stanley help with the dishes. You look all flushed. You don't have a fever, do you? Let me see your tongue. It's all spotted.
That's cashew nut.
Don't you get sick on me too. If you're tired, I want you in bed.
I have a little stomach cramp. Maybe I'm getting my ladies.
Your what?
My ladies. That thing that Nora gets when she can't go in the water.
I don't think so. Not at your age. But if your stomach hurts real bad, you come and tell me. I made a nice tuna fish salad tonight. Call me when your mother comes out.
Aunt Kate, does Mama like Mr. Murphy?
I don't know, darling. I don't think she knows him very well yet.
Do you like him?
I never spoke to the man.
You called him a Cossack. Are those the kind of people who don't like Jewish people?
I'm sure Mr. Murphy likes your mother. Otherwise, he wouldn't be taking her out to dinner.
If Mom married him, would we have to live in that dark house across the street with the creepy woman in the window?
We're not up to that yet. Just get through Shardov's restaurant first.
Goes to the kitchen. Eugene rushes into his room. Stanley's lying on his bed, hands under his head, staring at the ceiling.
Pop's feeling better. He threw the newspaper at me because I didn't bring him the evening edition.
Lock the door.
You look terrible. You were crying. Your eyes are all red.
I'm in trouble, Huge. I mean, real trouble.
He takes a single cigarette out of his shirt pocket, puts it in his mouth, and lights it with a match.
When did you take up smoking?
I smoke in the stockroom all the time. Don't let me see you do it. It's a bad habit.
So how come you do it?
I like it.
What brand do you smoke?
Lucky Strikes.
I knew you would. That's the best brand.
Swear to God, what I tell you, you'll never tell a living soul.
I take an oath on the life of the entire New York Yankees. What happened?
I lost my salary.
What?
The entire $17. It's gone. I lost it.
Where? In the subway?
In a poker game. I lost it gambling.
In a poker game?
Will you shut up? You want to kill Pop in his bedroom?
You never told me you gambled.
We would just do it at lunch hour for pennies. I always won. A dime, a quarter. It wasn't luck. I was really good.
$17.
When Pop got sick, I thought I could make some extra money to help out. So I played in this game over in the stockroom at Flourisham Shoes. Boy, did I learn about poker. They cleaned me out in 20 minutes.
What are you going to tell them?
I don't know. If Pop wasn't sick, I would tell him the truth. Last week, he tells me how proud he is of me. He's driving a cab at nights, and I'm playing poker at Florisham's.
Yeah, but suppose you won. Suppose you won $50. You just had bad luck, that's all.
I had no chance against those guys. They were gamblers. They all wore black, pointy shoes with clocks on their socks. If Pop dies, I'll hang myself, I swear.
Don't talk like that. Pop isn't going to die. He ate 3 lamb chops tonight. Why don't you just say you lost the money? You had a hole in your pocket. You can tear a hole in your pocket.
I already used that one.
When?
In November, when I lost $5, he said to me, from now on, check your pockets every morning.
What happened to the $5? Did you gamble that too?
No, I gave it to a girl, a pro.
A pro what? A prostitute? You went to one of those places? Holy shit!
I'm not gonna warn you about that word again.
Is that what it costs? $5?
$2.50. I went with this guy I know, and he still owes me.
And you never told me? What was she like? Was she pretty? How old was she?
Don't start with me, Eugene.
And did she get completely naked or what?
Every time I get in trouble, I have to tell you what a naked girl looks like. Do me a favor, Eugene. Go in the bathroom, whack off, and grow up. By yourself.
Don't get sore. If you were me, you'd ask the same questions.
Well, I never had an older brother to teach me those things. I had to do it all on my own. You don't know how lucky you are to be the younger one. You don't have to have the responsibilities I do. You're still in school looking up girls' dresses on the staircase.
I worked plenty hard in school.
Yeah? Well, let me see your report card. Today's the 1st of the month. I know you got it. I want to see your report card.
I don't have to show you my report card. You're not my father.
Yes, I am. As long as Pop is sick, I am. I'm the only one in the family who's working, ain't I?
Really? Well, where's your salary this week, Pop?
I hate you sometimes. You're nothing but a lousy shit. I help you all the time, and you never help me without wanting something for it. I hate your disgusting guts.
Not as much as I hate yours. You snore at night. You pick your toenails. You smell up the bathroom. When I go in there, I have to puke.
Give me your report card. Give it to me, God damn it, or I'll beat your face in.
You want it here? Here's my lousy report card. You fuck!
He falls on the bed crying, his face to the wall. Stanley sits on his own bed, reads the report card. There's a long silence.
4 A's and a B. That's good. That's real good, Eugene. You're smart. I want you to go to college. I want you to be somebody important someday. Because I'm not. I'm no damn good. I'm sorry I said those things to you.
Me too. I'm sorry too.
Jack appears at the top of the stairs. He's in his pajamas, robe, and slippers. He seems very shaky. He holds on to the banister and slowly comes down the stairs. He looks around and then sees Laurie and walks into the living room. His breath does not come so easy.
Hi, Uncle Jack. Are you feeling better?
A little, darling. Your mother's not down yet?
No.
I wanted to see her before she goes out.
Oh my God, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? You're walking down the stairs?
I'm all right. I was tired lying in that bed. I wanted to see Blanche.
How are you going to get upstairs? You think I'm going to carry you? The doctor said you're not even supposed to go to the bathroom, didn't he?
You trust doctors? My grandmother never saw one in her life, and she lived to be 87.
She didn't have high blood pressure. She never fainted on the subway.
She used to faint 3-4 times a week. It's in our family. We're fainters, Laurie. Darling, get your Uncle Jack a glass of ice water, please.
Now?
Yes, now, sweetheart. That child is pampered too much. You should let her do more work around the house. Huh? You don't get healthy lying on couches all day.
No, you get healthy driving cabs at night after you work 9 hours cutting raincoats. You want to kill yourself, Jack? You want to leave me to take care of this family alone? Is that what you want?
You figure I'll get better faster if you make me feel guilty? Huh? I was born with enough guilt, Katie. Huh? If I need more, I'll ask you.
I'm sorry. You know me. I'm not happy unless I can worry. My family were worriers. Worriers generally marry fainters.
I'm not going to leave you. I promise. If I didn't leave you for another woman, I'm certainly not going to drop dead just to leave you.
What other woman? That bookkeeper, Helene?
Again with Helene? You're never going to forget that I danced with her 2 years in a row at the Commodore Hotel?
Don't tell me she isn't attracted to you. I noticed that right off.
What does a woman like that want with a cutter? She likes the men up front, the salesman. She's a widow. She's looking to get married.
You're an attractive man, Jack. Women like you.
Me? Attractive? You really must think I'm dying, don't you?
You don't know women like I do. Just promise me one thing. If anything ever happens with you and that Helene, let me go to my grave without hearing it.
I see. Now that you're worried about Helene, you've decided you're going to die first.
Laurie comes back with a glass of ice water.
I had to chop the ice. I'm all out of breath.
It's good for you, darling. It's exercise.
The ice water. Nora comes out of her room and goes bounding down the stairs.
I'm going out. I won't be having dinner. I'll be home late. I have my key. Good night.
Nora, don't you want to see how your mother looks?
I'm sure she looks beautiful. She doesn't need me to tell her.
What about Mr. Murphy? I know your mother wants him to meet you and Laurie. He'll be here any minute.
I have somebody waiting for me. I can meet Mr. Murphy some other time.
I think it would be nice if you waited, Nora. Huh? I think your mother would be very hurt if you didn't wait to say goodbye.
I'm sure that's very good advice, Uncle Jack. I know just how my mother feels. I'm not so sure she knows how I feel.
Turns and goes out the front door.
Jack, what'll I do?
Leave it alone. Huh? It's between Nora and Blanche. It's something they have to work out.
Who is she going out with? Where does she go every night?
With Larry Clurman. He borrows his father's car and takes her to the cemetery.
What cemetery?
Where Daddy's buried. She goes to see Daddy.
Blanche has come out of her room and appears at the head of the stairs. She's all dressed up and looks quite lovely. She comes down the stairs.
What'll I tell her? I don't want to spoil this evening for her.
Jack, what are you doing down here?
We have company coming. Where else should I be?
I looked in your room. I got scared to death.
Well, you don't look it. You look beautiful.
Oh, Blanche. Oh my God, Blanche is stunning, like a movie star. Who's the movie star I like so much, Laurie?
Irene Dunn.
Oh, like Irene Dunn.
I think she looks like Rosalind Russell. Maybe Carol Lombard.
I think she looks like Blanche. Blanche is prettier than all of them.
I had such trouble with the makeup. I couldn't see my eyes to put on the mascara. So I had to put my glasses on, then I couldn't get the mascara under the glasses.
Gets up from his bed, goes out to
Where?
the bathroom.
Where are your glasses? Have you got your glasses?
My purse, I thought I'd put them on in the restaurant when I'm looking at the menu.
Make sure you do. I don't want you coming home telling me you don't know what he looks like.
I'm so glad to see you up, Jack. Then you're feeling better?
It was nothing. I needed a rest, that's all. Besides, I wanted to meet this Murphy fella, huh? A stranger comes in, he likes to meet another man, makes him feel comfortable.
Thank you, Jack. That's very thoughtful of you.
Here, wear this. Don't say no to me. Just put them on, Blanche, please.
Kate, your pearls. Oh, your good pearls.
What are they going to do? Sit in my drawer all these years? Pearls are like people. They like to go out and be seen once in a while.
Oh, you were going to wear them to the affair tonight. Oh, I'm so wrapped up in myself. I forgot you're missing the fair this year.
I can afford to miss it. I don't see Jack there the whole night anyway.
Let's see how they look.
Oh, I'm so nervous I'll lose them.
Put them on, they all look.
All right. Tell me I don't have a beautiful sister.
Now I feel good. Now I feel I got my money's worth.
Definitely Carol Lombard.
Laurie, go up and get Nora. I want to show them to Nora.
She's not here. She left.
What do you mean she left? Without saying goodbye?
She had to meet somebody. She wanted to wait for you.
She could have come into my room. She knew I wanted to see her.
She'll see you when she gets home. You'll look just as good at 12 o'clock.
What did she say? Did she say anything?
You're going out. You're going to have a good time tonight. We'll talk about it later.
She's making me pay for it, isn't she? She knows she can get me so easily. That's what I get for making decisions.
I feel like ice cream for dessert. Laurie, you feel like ice cream for dessert?
Butter pecan?
Butter pecan for you, maple walnut for me. Go up and tell Eugene I want him to go to the store.
I'll go with him.
Don't run, darling.
Let her run. If she gets tired, she'll tell you. Let's stop worrying about each other so much.
Eugene, your father wants us to go to the store.
Oh, I'm sick. My stomach hurts.
Don't you want any ice cream?
Ice cream. Wait a minute. It's amazing how quickly you recover from misery when someone offers you ice cream.
She's only 16, Blanche. At that age, they're still wrapped up in themselves.
How am I going to become a writer if I don't know how to suffer? Actually, I'd give up writing if I could see a naked girl while I was eating ice cream.
Out of his room and goes down the stairs with Laurie. Stanley comes out of the bathroom and goes back into his own room.
What time is it?
It's 6:30. He'll be here any minute. Get your mind off Nora, Blanche. Don't wear my pearls out tonight for nothing.
Eugene, go to Hanson's, get a half pint of butter pecan, a half pint of maple walnut, a half pint of chocolate for yourself. Kate, what do you want?
I'm in mood for ice cream.
Get her vanilla. She'll eat it, and whatever Stanley likes.
I need money.
I just paid the doctor $15. Go up to Stanley. He got paid today. Ask him for his salary.
What?
Here's $1. Hurry back so Laurie can meet Mr. Murphy, but don't run.
You know what I worry about at night? That she'll run off. That I'll wake up in the morning and she'll be gone to Philadelphia or Boston or God knows where.
Look how the woman's going out on a date. Is that what you're going to talk about? He'll start drinking in 5 minutes.
You think so? What'll I do if he gets drunk?
You'll come right home. Do you have money? Do you have car fare?
No, I didn't take anything.
Wait here. I'll get $5 from Stanley. Now, I have something else to worry about.
Yes.
I could use a cup of hot tea.
Sit there. I'll make it.
We'll both make it, huh? Keep me company. We can hear the bell from the kitchen.
They go off to the kitchen. Kate is at Stanley's door. She knocks on it.
Stanley, are you in there?
Opens the door. Stanley's lying on his bed.
Open the window. You never get any air in this room. I need $5 for Aunt Blanche. Stanley, did you get paid today?
Yes, I got paid today.
Take out your money for the week. Let me have the envelope.
I don't have it.
You don't have the envelope.
I don't have the money.
What do you mean you don't have the money?
I mean, I don't have the money. It's gone.
It's gone? Gone where?
It's just gone. I don't have it. I can't get it back. I'm sorry. There's nothing I could do about it anymore. Just don't ask me any more questions.
What do you mean, don't ask any more questions? I want to know what happened to $17, Stanley.
You'll tell Pop. If I tell you, you're going to tell Pop.
Why shouldn't I tell your father? Why, Stanley? I want to know what happened to that money.
I gambled it. I lost it. Playing poker, all right? You happy? You satisfied now?
I'm not going to deal with this right now. I have to get Aunt Blanche out of the house first. I have your father's health to worry about. You're going to sit in this room and you're going to think of a story. You were robbed. Somebody stole the money. I don't care who, I don't care where. That's what you're going to tell your father, because if you tell him the truth, you'll kill that man as sure as I'm sitting here. Tonight, after he goes to sleep, you'll meet me in the kitchen and we'll deal with this alone.
I'm sorry.
She goes, closes the door. Stanley sits there as if the life has been gone out of him. Kate walks down the stairs into the living room. She goes over to the window, looks out, and breaks into sob. Blanche comes out of the kitchen. She looks around the living room.
I left my purse in here. Without my glasses, I'm afraid to pour the tea. Kate? What is it? What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just all nerves today.
You're worried about Jack. He shouldn't have come down the stairs.
He knows he's not supposed to get out of bed. Why did we need the doctor for? He don't listen to them anyway.
I shouldn't have asked Mr. Murphy to come over. That's the only reason he came down.
It's not just Mr. Murphy. It's Stanley. It's Eugene. It's everybody.
I'm sorry about Nora. Jack told me what she said when she left.
Why don't you get your purse, Blanche? She'll be here any minute.
Did Nora say anything to hurt you, Kate? I know she's been very difficult these last few days.
Why is it always Nora? Why is it only your problems? Do you think you're the only one in this world who has troubles? We all have troubles. We all get our equal share.
I'm sorry. Forgive me, Kate. I'm sorry.
Maybe you're stronger than I am. I don't know. You survived Dave's death. I don't know if I could handle it if anything happens to Jack.
Well, be all right, Kate. Nothing's going to happen to him. He's still a young man. He's strong.
When Dave died, I cried for his loss. I was so angry. Angry at God for taking such a young man. I never realized until now what you must have gone through. How did you get through it, Blanche?
I had you. I had Jack. But mostly, you live for your children. Your children keep you going.
My children.
I wake up every morning for Nora and for Laurie.
Nora hurts you so much, and you can still say that.
Why? Don't you think we hurt our parents? You don't remember how Mama cried when Celia left home? Sure, it hurts, but if you love someone, you forgive them.
Some things you forgive. Some things you never forgive.
Laura comes back in the house. She has a letter in her hand.
Is the ice cream here yet?
No, darling. Didn't you go with Eugene?
No, I was across the street in the creepy house. It's just as creepy inside.
In Mr. Murphy's house? You were just in there? Why?
She called me from the window, the old lady. I think it's his mother. She told me she had a letter for you. I had to go inside to get it.
What did she say to you?
She offered me a cookie, but it was all green, and I said I wasn't hungry.
He appears outside the house. He carries a brown paper bag with 4 small cartons of ice cream. Blanche opens the letter.
Dear Mrs. Morton, I send regrets for my son Frank. I tried to reach you earlier, then realized you had no phone. Frank will be unable to keep his dinner engagement with you this evening. Frank is in hospital as a result of an automobile accident last night, and although his injuries are not serious, the consequences are. As a devoted mother, I would end this letter here and forward my apologies. Despite all my son's fault, honesty and sincerity have never been his failings. He wanted me to tell you the truth, that while driving a friend's motor car, he was intoxicated and was the cause of the aforementioned accident. The truth would come out soon enough, but Frank has too much respect and fondness for you to have you hear it from some other source. I hope you will not think I am just a doting mother when I tell you my boy has a great many attributes. A great many. As soon as Frank can get out of his difficulties here, we have decided to move to upstate New York, where there's a clinic that can help Frank and where we have relatives with whom we can stay. Frank sends along with his regrets his regard for a warm, intelligent, friendly, and most delightful neighbor across the way. Yours most respectfully, Mrs. Matthew Murphy.
What is it?
He's not coming. He's in the hospital.
It was a sad letter, all right, but it sure was well written. Maybe I should have been born in Ireland.
You know what? I said it right from the beginning, didn't I?
Why is he in the hospital?
He was in a car accident. Oh God, that poor woman.
Does that mean you're not going out to dinner?
It could have been you in that car with him. I warned you the first day about those people.
Stop calling them those people. They're not those people. She's a mother like you and me.
And what is he? Tell me what he is.
He's somebody in trouble. He's somebody that needs help. For God's sakes, Kate, you don't even know the man.
I know the man. I know what they're all like.
Oh, who are you to talk? Are we any better? Are we something so special? We're all poor around here. The least we can do is be charitable.
Why? What have I got I can afford to give away? Am I the one who got you all dressed up for nothing? Am I the one who got your hopes up? Am I the one they're going to lock up in jail somewhere?
They're going to put him in jail?
Don't talk to me about charity. Anyone else, but not me.
I never said you weren't charitable.
All I did was try to help you. All I ever did was try to help you.
I know that. Nobody cares about their family more than you. But at least you can be sympathetic to somebody else in trouble.
Who should I care about? Who's out there watching over me? I did enough in my life for people. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. Say what's on your mind, Kate. What people?
You, Celia, Papa when he was sick, everybody. Don't you ask me what people. How many beatings from Mama did I get for the things that you did? How many dresses did I go without so you could look like someone when you went out? I was the workhorse and you were the pretty one. You have no right to talk to me like that. No right.
This is all about Jack, isn't it? You're blaming me for what happened.
Why do you think that man is sick today? Why did a policeman have to carry him home at 2 o'clock in the morning? So your Nora could have dancing lessons, so that Laurie could see a doctor every 3 weeks. Go on. Worry about your friend across the street, not the ones who have to be dragged home to keep a roof over your head.
What is this? What's going on here?
Why didn't you ever tell me you felt that way?
You never had the time. I was too busy taking care of everyone.
What is it, Blanche? What happened?
It took all these years. It took something like that letter for you to finally get your feelings out.
I didn't need a letter. I just needed you to ask me.
Laurie, please go upstairs. This conversation isn't for you.
The ice cream is ready.
Eugene, put the ice cream in the ice box. I have to talk to your mother.
I never spoke to the woman. They've lived in that house for 3 years, and I never exchanged a word with her.
What are you walking around for? If you're out of bed, at least sit in a chair.
If I could take Nora and Laurie and pack them out of this house tonight, I would do it. But I can't. I have no place to take them.
Blanche, what are you talking about? Don't say such things.
If I can leave the girls with you another few weeks, I would appreciate it. Until I can find a place of my own, then I'll send for them.
You're not sending for anybody, and you're not leaving anywhere. I don't want to hear this kind of talk.
Stay out of this, Jack. Let her do what she wants.
I know a woman in Manhattan Beach. I can stay with her for a few days. And then I'll find a job. I will do anything anybody asks me, but I will never be a burden to anyone again.
Blanche, stop this. Stop it right now. What the hell is going on here, for God's sakes? Two sisters having a fight that they should have had 25 years ago? You want to get it out, Blanche? Get it out. Huh? Tell her what it's like to live in a house that isn't yours. To have to depend on somebody else to put the food on your plate every night. Huh? I know what it's like because I lived that way until I was 21 years old. Tell her, Kate, what it is to be an older sister. To suddenly be the one who has to work and shoulder all the responsibilities and not be the one who gets the affection and the hugs when you were the only one there. You think I don't see it? With Stanley and Eugene? With Nora and Laurie? You think I don't hear the fights that go on up in those rooms night after night? Go on, Kate. Scream at her. Yell at her. Call her names. Blanche, tell her to go to hell for the first time in your life. And when you both got it out of your systems, give each other a hug and go have dinner. My lousy ice cream is melting, for God's sakes.
I love you both very much. No matter what Kate says to me, I will never stop loving her. But I have to get out. If I don't do it now, I will lose whatever self-respect I have left. For people like us, sometimes the only thing we really own is our dignity. And when I grow old, I would like to have as much as Mrs. Matthew Murphy across the street.
Sandra goes up the stairs, disappearing into her room.
What did it, Kate? Something terrible must have happened to you tonight for you to behave like this. It wasn't Blanche, it was something else. What was it, Kate?
Tell the kids to come down in 5 minutes. We're eating in the kitchen tonight.
Walks into the kitchen. Jack stands there, staring after her. Eugene, coming out of the kitchen, passes his father.
Get Stanley and Laurie. Dinner's in 5 minutes.
Jack goes into the kitchen. Eugene walks the stairs and goes towards his bedroom.
It was the first day in my life I didn't get blamed for what just happened. I felt real sorry for everybody, but as long as I wasn't to blame, I didn't feel all that bad about things. That's when I realized I had a selfish streak in me. I sure hope I grow out of it.
He enters his bedroom and says to Stanley,
Aunt Blanche is leaving.
Where?
To stay with some woman in Manhattan Beach. She and Mom just had a big fight. She's going to send for Laurie and Nora when she gets a job.
What did they fight about?
I couldn't hear it all. I think Mom sort of blames Aunt Blanche for Pop having to work so hard.
Oh, God. Did Mom say anything about me? About how I lost my salary?
You told her? Why did you tell her? I came up with 12 terrific lies for you.
How much money do you have?
Me? I don't have any money.
The hell you don't. You got money in your cigar box. How much do you have?
I got $1.12. It's my life savings.
Let me have it. I'll pay it back. Don't worry.
puts a jacket over his sweater, then gets a fedora from the closet and puts it on. Eugene takes a cigar box from under the bed, opens it.
What are you what are you putting on all those things for?
In case I have to sleep out tonight. I'm leaving, Gene. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'll write to you when I get there.
You're leaving home?
When I'm gone, you tell Aunt Blanche what happened to my salary. Then she'll know why Mom was so angry. Tell her, please, not to leave because it was all my fault, not Mom's. Will you do that?
Takes the coins out of the cigar box.
I have 8 cents worth of stamps if you want that too.
Thanks.
Picks up a small medal.
What's this?
The medal you won for the 100-yard dash 2 years ago.
From the Police Athletic League? I didn't know you still had this.
You gave it to me. You can have it back if you want it.
It's not worth anything.
It is to me.
Sure. You can keep it.
Thanks. Where will you go?
I don't know. I've been thinking about joining the Army. Pop says we'll be at war in a couple of years. So anyway, I could be a sergeant or something by the time it starts.
If it lasts long enough, I could join too. And maybe we can get in the same outfit, the Fighting 69th. It's mostly Irish, but they had a few Jewish guys in the movie.
You don't go in the Army unless they come and get you. You go to college. You hear me? Promise me you'll go to college.
We'll probably have to stay home and work if you leave. We'll need the money.
I'll send home my paycheck every month. A sergeant in the Army makes real good dough. Oh, I better get going.
What do you have to leave for?
Don't start crying. They'll hear you.
They'll get over it. They won't stay mad at you forever. I was mad at you and I got over it.
Because of me, the whole family is breaking up. Do you want Nora to end up like one of those cheap boardwalk girls?
I don't care. I'm not in love with Nora anymore.
Well, you should care. She's your cousin. Don't turn out like me.
I don't see what's so bad about you.
Take care of yourself, Hughes.
They embrace. He opens the door, looks around, then back to Eugene.
If you ever write a story about me, call me Hank. I always like the name Hank.
He goes, closing the door behind him. Eugene sits there in silence for a while, then turns to the audience.
I guess there comes a time in everybody's life when you say, this very moment is the end of my childhood. When Stanley closed the door, I knew that moment had come to me. I was scared, I was lonely, and I hated my mother and father for making him so unhappy. Even if they were right, I still hated them. I even hated Stanley a little because he left me there to grow up all by myself.
Eugene, Laurie, it's dinner. I'm not waiting all night.
And I hated her for leaving Stanley's name out when she called us for dinner. I don't think parents really know how cruel they can be sometimes. At dinner, I tried to tell them about Stanley, but I just couldn't get the words out. I left the table without even having my ice cream. If it was suffering I was after, I was beginning to learn about it.
Pete and Jack come out of the kitchen, heading upstairs.
It's 10 o'clock. Where is Stanley so late?
Never mind, Stanley. You should have been in bed an hour ago.
Why won't you tell me what happened between you and that boy?
I'm tired, Jack. I've had enough to deal with for one day.
I want him to go to the temple with me on Saturday. They stop going for 3 or 4 weeks. They forget their religion altogether.
They go into the bedroom.
The house became quieter than I ever heard it before. Aunt Blanche was in her room packing. Pop and Mom were in their bedroom, and I had to talk to somebody or else I'd go crazy. I didn't have much choice. Laurie, it's Eugene. Can I come in?
What do you want? I'm reading.
I just want to talk to you.
I didn't say yes, did I?
Well, I'm already in, so it's too late. What are you reading?
The Citadel by A.J. Cronin.
I read it. It's terrific. I hear your mother's leaving in the morning.
We're going to as soon as she finds a job.
I can't believe it. I'm going to be the only one left here.
You mean you and Stanley?
Stanley's gone. He's not coming back. I think he's going to join the army.
You mean he ran away?
No, only kids run away. When you're Stanley's age, you just leave.
He didn't say goodbye?
My parents don't even know about it. I'm going to tell them now.
Oh, I wonder if I'll have to go to a different school.
You'll have to make all new friends.
No, I don't care. I don't have any friends here anyway.
Because you're always in the house. You never go out.
I can't because of my condition.
You don't look sick to me. Do you feel sick?
No, but my mother tells me I am.
I don't trust parents anymore.
Why would she lie to me?
To keep you around. Once they find out Stanley's gone, they're going to handcuff me to my bed.
I wouldn't ever leave my mother anyway. Even when I'm older, even if I get married, I'll never leave my mother.
Yeah, Mr. Murphy across the street never left his mother. He ended up going to jail.
None of this would have happened if my father was alive.
How did you feel when he died?
I don't remember. I cried a lot because I saw my mother crying.
I would hate it if my father died. Especially with Stanley gone. We'd probably have to move out of this house.
Well, then you and your mother could come and live with us.
So if we all end up living together, what's the point in breaking up now?
I don't know. I have to finish reading.
Goes back to her book. Eugene gets up and looks out at the audience.
You don't get too far talking to Laurie. Sometimes I think the flutter in her heart is really in her brain.
She leaves the room, closes the door, and heads down.
I went into their bedroom and broke the news about Stanley. The monumental news that their eldest son had run off, probably to get killed in France, fighting for his country. My mother said, "Go to bed. He'll be home when it gets cold out." I couldn't believe it. Their own son. It was then that I suspected that Stanley and I were adopted. They finally went to bed, and I waited out on the front steps until it got cold, but Stanley never showed up.
He goes out the front door. It is later that night, after midnight. We see Nora enter the front yard. Blanche comes down the stairs in a nightgown and a robe. She waits at the foot of the stairs as Nora comes into the house and sees her.
I wanted to talk to you.
Now? It's late.
I know it's late. We could have talked earlier if you didn't come home at 12 o'clock at night.
Blanche walks into the living room. Nora follows her in and stands in the doorway.
How was your dinner?
I didn't go. Mr. Murphy was in an accident.
I'm sorry. Is he all right?
He's got his problems, just like the rest of us. I was very hurt that you left tonight without saying goodbye.
It was late. Someone was waiting for me.
So was I. You knew it was important to me.
I'm not feeling very well.
You purposely left without seeing me. You've never done that before.
Can we talk about this in the morning?
I won't be here in the morning.
Then tomorrow night.
I'm leaving, Nora. I'm moving out in the morning.
What are you talking about?
Aunt Kate and I had a fight tonight. We said some terrible things to each other, things that have been bottled up since we were children. I'm going to go stay with my friend Louise in Manhattan Beach until I can find a job. Then I'll send for you and Laurie.
I can't believe it. You mean it's all right for you to leave us, but it wasn't all right for me to leave you?
I was never concerned about your leaving me. It was your future I was worrying about.
It was my future. Why couldn't I have something to say about it?
Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I never made the decisions for the family. Your father did. Aunt Kate was right about one thing. Everyone always took care of me. My mother, my sisters, my father, even you and Laurie. I've been a very dependent person all my life.
Maybe that's all I'm asking for. To be independent.
You earn your independence. You don't take it at the expense of others. Would that job even be offered to you if somebody in this family hadn't paid for those dancing lessons and kept a roof over your head and clothes on your back? If anyone's going to pay Uncle Jack, it'll be me. Doing God knows what I don't know, but one thing I'm sure of, I'll steal before I let my daughter show that man 1 ounce of ingratitude or disrespect.
So I have to give up the one chance I may never get again. Is that it? I'm the one who has to pay for what you couldn't do with your own life.
What right do you have to judge me like that?
Judge you? I can't even talk to you. I don't exist to you. I've tried so hard to get close to you, but there was never any room. Whatever you had to give went to Daddy, and when he died, whatever was left you gave to...
What? Finish what you were going to say.
I have been jealous my whole life of Laurie because she was lucky enough to be born sick. I could never turn a light on in my room at night or read in bed because Laurie always needed her precious sleep. I could never have a friend over on the weekends because Laurie was always resting. I used to pray I'd get some terrible disease or get hit by a car so I'd have a leg all twisted or crippled, and then once, maybe just once, I'd get to crawl in bed next to you on a cold rainy night and talk to you and hold you until I fell asleep in your arms. Just once.
My God, Nora, is that what you think of me?
Is it any worse than what you think of me?
I'm not going to let you hurt me, Nora. I'm not going to let you tell me that I don't love you or that I haven't tried to give you as much as I gave Laurie. God knows I'm not perfect because enough angry people in this house told me so tonight. But I am not going to be a doormat for all the frustrations and happiness and unhappiness that you or Aunt Kate or anyone else wants to lay at my feet. I did not create this universe. I do not decide who lives and dies or who's rich or poor or who feels loved and who feels deprived. If you feel cheated that Laurie gets more than you, then I feel cheated that I had a husband who died at 36. And if you keep on feeling that way, you'll end up like me, with something much worse than loneliness or helplessness, and that's self-pity. Because believe me, there is no leg that's twisted or bent that's more crippling than a human being who thrives on his own misfortunes. I'm sorry, Nora, that you feel unloved, and I will do everything I can to change it, except apologize for it. I am tired of apologizing. After a while, it becomes your life's work, and it doesn't bring any money into the house. If it's taken your pain and Aunt Kate's anger to get me to start living again, then God will give me the strength to make it up to you, but I will not go back to being that frightened, helpless woman that I created. I've already buried someone I love. Now it's time to bury someone I hate.
I didn't ask you to hate yourself. I just asked you to love me.
I do, Nora. Oh, God, why can't I make that clear to you?
I feel so terrible.
Why?
Because I think I hurt you, and I still want that job with Mr. Beekman.
I know you do.
But why can't I? But I can't have it, can I?
How can I answer that without you thinking I'm still depriving you?
I don't know. Maybe you just did.
I hope so, Nora. I pray to God it's so.
Kate is coming down the stairs.
I heard voices downstairs. I didn't know who it was.
I'm sorry if we woke you. Go on up to bed. Nora, we'll talk in the morning.
All right. Good night, Aunt Kate.
Nora goes upstairs.
Is she all right?
Yes.
She's not angry anymore.
No, Kate. No one's angry anymore. I just explained everything to Nora. The girls will help you with the housework while I'm gone. Laurie's strong enough to do her share. I've kept her being a baby long enough.
They've never been any trouble to me, those girls. Never.
I'll try to take them on the weekends if I can. It's late. We could both use a good night's sleep.
Backs out of the room.
Blanche, don't go. I feel badly enough for what I said. Don't make me feel any worse.
Everything you said to me tonight was true, Kate. I wish to God you'd said it long ago.
What would I do without you? Who else do I have to talk to all day? What friends do I have in this neighborhood? Even the Murphys across the street are leaving.
You and I never had any troubles before tonight, Kate. And as God is in heaven, there'll never be an angry word between us again. It's the girls I'm thinking of now. We have to be together. The three of us. It's what they want as much as I do.
All right. I'm not saying you shouldn't have it. But you're not going to find a job overnight. Apartments are expensive. While you're looking, why do you have to live with strangers in Manhattan Beach?
Reese isn't a stranger. She's a good friend.
To me, good friends are strangers, but sisters are sisters.
I'm afraid of becoming comfortable here. If I don't get out now, when will I ever do it?
The door is open. Go whenever you want. When you got the job, when you find the apartment, I'll help you move. I can look with you. I know how to bargain with these landlords.
You wouldn't mind doing that?
They see a woman all alone, they take advantage of you. I'll find out what they're asking for the Murphy place. It couldn't be expensive. She never cleaned it.
How independent can I become if I live right across the street from you?
Far enough away for you to close your own door and close enough for me not to feel so lonely.
Blanche looks at her with great affection, walks over to Kate and embraces her. They hold on.
If I lived on the moon, you'd still be close to me, Kate.
I'll tell Jack. He wouldn't go to sleep until I promised to come up with some good news.
I suddenly feel so hungry.
Of course. You haven't had dinner. Come on. I'll fix you some scrambled eggs.
I'll make them. I'm an independent woman now.
With your eyes, you'll never get the eggs in the pan.
Walk into the kitchen. Eugene appears in the front yard. He's carrying 2 bags of groceries. It's late afternoon. He stops to talk to the audience.
So Aunt Blanche decided to stay while she was looking for a job. Nora went back to school the next morning, gave me a big smile, and her legs looked as creamy white as ever. Laurie was asked to take out the garbage, but she quickly got a flutter in her heart, so I had to do it. Life was back to normal.
Goes back into the house. Kate comes out for the kitchen.
Eugene, go back to Greenblatt's. I need flour.
How much? A teaspoonful? Stanley didn't come home that night, and even though Mom didn't say anything, I knew she was plenty worried. She told Pop how Stanley lost the money playing poker, and from the sounds coming out of their room, I figured Stanley should forget about the army and try for the Foreign Legion.
Stanley appears down the street.
And then, all of a sudden, the next night, about dinner time, he came back. I was never so happy to see anyone in my whole life.
Hi. Where's Mom and Pop?
Mom's in the kitchen cooking. Pop's upstairs with his prayer book. They figured if God didn't bring you home, maybe her potato pancakes would. What happened? Did you join up?
I came pretty close. I passed the physical 1, 2, 3.
I knew you would.
They were giving me cigarettes, donuts, the whole sales pitch. I mean, they really wanted me.
I'll bet.
But then just as I was about to sign my name, I stopped cold. I put down the pen and I said, I'm sorry, maybe some other time, and walked out.
How come?
I couldn't do it to Pop. Right now he needs me more than the army does. I knew Mom didn't really mean it when she said she'd never forgive me for losing the money. But if I walked out on the family now, I mean, maybe she never would.
Gee, I thought you'd be halfway to training camp by now. I'm real glad you're home, Stan.
They stand there looking at each other for a moment as Kate walks out of the kitchen to the yard.
Eugene, I need a pint of sweet cream and some more sugar.
Stanley's home.
Hello, Mom.
Get a 2-pound bag. I want to bake a chocolate cake.
A 2-pound bag from Greenblatt's? I'll need identification.
Are you staying for dinner?
Are you staying for dinner?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom. I know what you're going to say.
You can read my mind.
I'm staying as long as you'll let me stay.
Why wouldn't I let you stay? This is your home.
Kate walks into the house. Stanley follows. Jack comes down the stairs and goes over to his favorite chair. He opens up his paper.
Your father's been very worried. I think you owe him some sort of explanation.
I was just about to do that.
Kate looks at him, wants to reach out to touch him, but can't do it. She goes back into the kitchen as Stanley walks into the living room.
Hey, Pop, how you feeling?
Jack doesn't turn. He keeps reading his newspaper.
I'm sorry about not coming home last night. I know it was wrong. I just didn't know how to tell you about the money. I know it doesn't help to say I'll never do it again, because I won't. I swear. I never.
Takes money out of his pocket.
I've got $3. Last night I went over the Dominic's bowling alley and I set pins till midnight. And I can make another 6 on the weekend, so that makes 9. And I'll get the $17 back, Pop, I promise. I'm not afraid of hard work. That's the one thing you taught me. Hard work and principles. That's the code I'm going to live by for the rest of my life. So if you have anything you want to say to me, I'd be very glad to listen.
He stands there and waits.
Did you read the paper tonight, Stanley?
No, Pop.
There's going to be a war. Terrible war, Stanley.
I know, Pop.
Biggest war the world has ever seen. And it frightens me. We're still not over the last one yet. And already they're starting another one.
We don't talk about it much in the store because of Mr. Stroheim being German and all.
My brother Michael was killed in the last war. I've told you that.
You showed me his picture in his uniform.
He was 19 years old. The day he left, he didn't look any older than Eugene. He was killed the second week he was overseas.
I know.
It didn't take me because I was 16 years old. Both parents were dead. I lived with my Aunt Rose and Uncle Maury. They had 2 sons in the Navy, both of them wounded, both of them decorated.
Uncle Leon and Uncle Paul, right?
My brother would have been 40 years old this month. He was a handsome boy. Good athlete, good dancer, good everything. I idolized him like Eugene idolizes you.
No, he doesn't.
He does, believe me. I hear him outside talking to his friends, my brother this, my brother that. Brothers can talk to each other the way fathers and sons never do. I never knew a thing about girls until my brother taught me. Isn't it like that with you and Eugene?
Yeah, I tell him a few things.
That's good. I'm glad you're so close. I missed all that when Michael went away. That's why I'm glad you didn't do anything foolish last night. I was afraid maybe you'd run away. I hear you talking with Eugene sometimes about the army. That day will soon come. That day will come soon enough, I'm afraid.
I did think about it. It was on my mind.
Don't you know, Stanley, there's nothing you could ever do that was so terrible I couldn't forgive you? I know why you gambled. I know how terrible you feel. It was foolish. You know that already. I've lost money gambling in my time. I know what it's like.
You did?
You're so surprised. You think your father's a perfect human being. Someday I'll tell you some other things I did that wasn't so perfect. Not even your mother knows. If you grew up thinking I was perfect, you'll hate yourself for every mistake you ever make. Don't be so hard on yourself. That's what you've got a mother and a father to do.
You're not hard on me. You're always fair.
I try to be. You're a good son, Stanley. You don't even realize it. We have men in our cutting room haven't spoken to their sons in 5-6 years. Boys who have no respect for anyone, including themselves, haven't worked a day in their lives, or who've brought their parents a single day's pleasure. Thank God. I could never say that about you, Stanley.
I gambled away $17 and you tell me how terrific I am.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't get the wrong idea. If you were home last night when your mother told me, I would have thrown you and your clothes out the window. Today I'm calmer. Today I read the newspaper. Today I'm afraid for all of us.
I understand.
After dinner tonight, you apologize to your mother and you give her the $3.
I will.
And apologize to your Aunt Blanche because she was worried about you too.
I will.
And you can thank your brother as well. He came into my bedroom this afternoon and told me how badly you felt. He was almost in tears himself. The way he pleaded your case, I thought I had Clarence Darrow in the room.
Eugene's a terrific kid.
All right. Go. Wash up. Get ready for dinner. And tonight, you and I are going to go out in the backyard and I'm going to teach you how to play poker.
Terrific.
Is Eugene back yet?
No, Mom.
You look tired. Did you get any sleep?
I got enough. I slept at a friend's house. Can I talk to you after dinner, Mom?
Where am I going? To a nightclub?
I'll wash up and be right down.
Turns and starts up the stairs.
Stanley, you didn't join anything, did you?
No, Mom.
You've got time yet. Family's growing up fast enough.
Yes, Mom.
He turns and rushes up the stairs. Kate turns and looks at Jack.
It's all right. Everything's all right.
Who said it wasn't? Didn't I say he'd be home? Laurie, call your sister. Time to set the table.
Dean comes running into the house with a small bag and some letters.
I just broke the world's record to Greenblatt's. Next year, I'm entering the grocery store Olympics. Here's some mail for you, Pop.
Is that my sweet cream?
Never spilled a drop. The perfect run. Where's Stanley?
He's cleaning up. Oh my God, I got jury duty next week.
He sits and opens up a letter. Eugene rushes up the stairs and runs into his room. Stanley's taken off his 2 sweaters.
Are you back in the family?
Yeah, everything's great.
Terrific. You want to take a walk on the boardwalk tonight? See what's doing?
I can't tonight. I'm busy.
Doing what?
I'm playing poker.
Poker? Are you serious?
Yeah, right after dinner.
I don't believe you.
I swear to God, I got a poker game tonight.
You're crazy. You're genuinely crazy, Stanley. If you lose, I'm not sticking up for you this time.
If you don't tell anybody, I'll give you a present.
What kind of present?
Are you gonna tell?
No, what's my present?
Stanley takes something wrapped in a piece of paper out of his jacket and hands it to Eugene.
Here, it's for you. Don't leave it lying around the room.
Eugene starts to open it. It's postcard size.
What is it?
Open it slowly. Slower than that. Close your eyes.
He does. It is unwrapped.
Now look.
Eugene looks. His eyes almost pop out.
Oh my God! She's naked! You can see everything!
Lower your voice. You want to get caught with a thing like that?
Where did you get it? Who is she?
She's French. That's how all the women are in Paris.
I can't believe I'm looking at this. You mean some girl actually posed for this? She just lay there and let some guy take a picture?
Blanche comes out of the kitchen.
Oh, Laurie, Nora, time for dinner.
The girls come out of their room.
It belongs to the guy who owes me $2.50. I can keep it until he pays me back.
Don't take the money. Let him keep it for a while.
He lies back on his bed, staring at the picture. Nora and Laura go down the stairs as Kate comes out of the kitchen with plates and starts to set up the table.
That's my appreciation for being a good buddy.
Anytime you need a favor, just let me know.
Put it in a safe spot. Come on, it's dinner.
In a minute, I'll be down in a minute.
He lies there, eyes transfixed. Stanley starts down the stairs. Nora and Laura set out napkins and utensils. Blanche starts to arrange the chairs. Jack, with a letter in his hand, gets up, looking excited, walks into the dining room.
Kate, where's Kate?
Don't run. You're always running.
It's a letter from London. My cousin Sholem got out. They got out of Poland. They're free, Kate.
Oh, thank God.
His wife, his mother, all 4 children, they're sailing for New York tomorrow. They'll be here in a week.
In a week.
Do they speak English?
I don't think so. A few words, maybe. They had to sell everything. They took only what they could carry.
Well, where will they stay?
Well, I'll have to discuss it with the family. Some with Uncle Leon, some Uncle Paul.
With us. We can put some beds in the dining room. It's easier to eat in the kitchen anyway.
The little ones can stay with Laurie. Nora, you can sleep with me, can't you, dear?
Of course, Mama.
Don't worry about money, Pa. I'm gonna hit Mr. Stroheim for that raise.
They got out. That's all that's important. They got out.
Jack sits down at the table to reread the letter. Nora, Stanley, and Laurie look over his shoulder. Blanche and Kate set the table.
Eugene, we're all waiting for you.
You're right there. I just have to write down something.
He looks at photo again, then picks up fountain pen and his memoir book and reads as he begins to write.
October the 2nd, 6:25 p.m. A momentous moment in the life of I, Eugene Morris Jerome. I have seen the golden palace of the Himalayas. Puberty is over. Onward and upwards.
Curtain.